Hello, everybody. It's Austin Holloman, your favorite YouTuber, and we are in a different setup now. As you guys can see, I am in Ciudad del Este, I believe is how you pronounce it. For the life of me, I cannot pronounce city properly, but Ciudad del Este, which is on the border of Brazil and Paraguay. And I'll be here for my birthday and a few more days following after that, and we'll see where we go next from after that. But we have a special guest today. It's somebody I met when I was traveling, and I noticed throughout the past 8 Latin American countries I've been to, I started to notice a pattern in between uh, mestizas and Afro Latinas, or the ones that just look straight black. The ones that look like they've never been mixed in and just straight African. And I started to notice in areas where we were not as prevalent that we got a different response versus when we were in areas like Salvador Bahia or Rio in Brazil, or even let's say Santiago, Chile, where blacks are more common, that it would be a more positive response in those areas. But when we were in places like Buenos Aires, Montevideo, Lima, Peru, Medellin, Colombia, it seems like a lot of black women could not hear me talking to them as if it's a facade that they're putting up. So let's go ahead and bring up our guest. She is an Afro Latina herself. I have some very well thought out questions that we're going to ask her. I've been waiting to do this interview with her. Thank you very much for coming through. And hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you, Austin?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. So, could you introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into the interview.
Well, hi everyone. I don't know who's listening, but I'm just, I guess, another human on the planet. I just happen to be born in Venezuela, so I do consider myself Afro Latina, even though I'm just Latina that happens to be black as well. And I'm a freelancer, I'm a social media manager, I'm just a regular person.
Okay, good, good. I'm glad we got a regular person's perspective today. So, can you tell us what
Mm.
an Afro Latina is?
Well, like I said, think I don't think Afro Latina is a term that I would use on the regular basis. I think it's just I'm Latina and I happen to be black. But I guess that's the definition of someone Hispanic that has black roots.
Okay, interesting. So that I think that's the same thing for African Americans in the United States. It's just black people that ended up over there. And
Yep.
guys, please don't start leaving comments saying we were already there. We're not going to debate about if we were there or not already. All right. So
Where are these comments? I want to read them.
no, don't read the comments because they'll distract you too much. So
Ah,
I
it's
have some good.
fine. I can take it. I'm
I know
curious.
you. I noticed that. I noticed that you're very.
Yeah,
It doesn't seem like you're too sensitive to criticism.
not
And for if
really.
anybody is wondering, this is the girl that I met. I think this was the first day I was in Lima. I met you walking down the street
Yeah.
near the cat park. I met you while I was on live, so you guys remember. So number one, my first question is: could you share your early experiences and the messages you received about dating with
Oh,
Afro
you cut
Latino?
off. Can I have that question again? I'm sorry.
All right, froze.
Yeah, I froze.
Oh, yeah, my internet. Okay,
Yeah, mine is not
could you
great. I'm sorry.
Could you share your early experiences and the messages you received about dating within your own Afro community in Venezuela? Like, for example, what were some things as a young girl you were taught, let's say a teenager or even younger, that you were taught
hmm
about dating amongst your own race in Venezuela? And how did that influence your perceptions of the black men in Venezuela?
That's a good question. I don't think I was necessarily taught directly any particular message. The thing with growing up as a black person in Venezuela is that everything, the racism that I want to call it, is so ingrained in our culture that the messages are subconscious, are so ingrained in our vocabulary, in our traditions, the way that we refer to black people, let's just say like, oh, you have to I would hear things like, oh, you have to marry a white person so you can improve your race, or and that would be like a quote unquote joke. But those are the type of messages that I grew up in and listening. And I think subconsciously I started creating beliefs about, maybe Black people are not the ideal. And whites or white people or Caucasians are a little bit more of a goal, and they're put in pedestals. So I wouldn't necessarily say that, oh, I was taught, no, you shouldn't marry Black, you shouldn't hang out around Black people. But it was an underlying current that, those subliminal messages, let's call it that way, that I would constantly receive, that made me create I believe about Black people in general.
So how did that make you treat those Black people if you had those subconscious beliefs about them?
I wouldn't treat them in a way that is particularly negative. I would just think that maybe if I can, and this is me talking about dating, dating wise. So I would think that maybe if I could get someone light skinned or a white person to date me, that would and somehow would be an achievement. That somehow that would be, oh, I got something, I got the prize, and that thought wouldn't be the same for someone that looked like me.
Wow, that's very, very interesting. Okay, so how did the advice of bettering your genetics by dating a white man affect your self-esteem personally? Like, how did that make you feel knowing that you were Black, that you felt that the white was the better the way to improve your race? How did you feel about yourself?
About myself, and this is something that I've obviously recognized and that I was able to change. But at the time when I was a young girl, I would see it as a social currency that somehow would elevate me or put me in a position socially that would benefit me. And that it's something that now as an adult I recognize in myself, and I was able to change. But unfortunately, that some those are things that I still see around, and not only with with Black Latinas, but also Indigenous Latinos in general, that we just perceive white race and Caucasians as this aspirational thing, and that we could somehow get social currency to elevate us in society some way.
Okay, that's very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So
Hmm.
my third question for you is, in what ways did these social societal pressures impact your relationships with Afro men during your formative years? So you kind of touched on this a little bit more, but I guess during your teenage years, I asked you, how did you treat other Black men? And you said that, I guess you kind of already answered this. You
Yeah,
kind of go ahead.
yeah. I just wouldn't be particularly interested in Black men. It was just okay. They're just people. Like I said, I would never reject them or like, that's gross. I was just, oh, maybe that's not my type. I maybe disguise it as, oh, that's not my type. And this is something that I saw a lot growing up. I can think of three people that I would call friends at the time that would tell me, oh, don't tell anyone I like Black men, like it's something that you shouldn't like. Or that they would tell me the opposite, like, oh, I don't like Black people. I mean, it can be your friend, but I just don't like Black men. I'm talking about women. Oh, I don't like Black men. I don't like it. And they would they would say those things to me, which I now find strange because, um, I don't know, I don't find it particularly something that you would say like, oh, I just don't like this race. And we can go into like preferences and all of that, but to say that to someone that's Black, in a way, uh, it makes you feel like, oh, you're not desirable if you're not careful. That's a message that you can internalize when you have a lot of people say, oh no, I don't like Black men or Black women. So yeah, I've had people tell me that those things.
Okay, so what would you say that what would you say your family would look at you as if you did bring a Black man home?
Well, that's I don't know if I can answer that because um growing up I was bullied a lot because I was usually the only black girl around in school in my classroom, and I was bullied a lot growing up because of my skin and my hair. Um, so I didn't date a lot at all actually when I was a teenager. So I don't know if I can answer that. Like my family wasn't expecting that from me.
So they bullied you behind your hair and your skin tone.
Yeah, yeah, they would make fun of me in many ways. I find it funny now, but yeah, I got bullied because of my hair, and that's why I ended up relaxing my hair for so many years because I just wanted to have straight hair like anyone else.
So when did you come to realization that this ideology was having an impact on your personal life, your self-esteem? Like when did you realize like why am I not wearing my natural hair?
Yeah, I think it started around maybe I was 19. I'm 30 years old now, so a long time ago. So I was 19, and I just, I think it was on YouTube, a girl on YouTube. She was a natural girl from the US, and she had this channel years ago about natural hair and how she grew her hair back from relaxers. And I was like, oh, that's the thing. I didn't even know that existed because, mind you, I grew up uh, with my mom's side of the family, which are not black. So I had no clue about black hair and black anything. So that's I think that's when the journey started. To there's a different side of black culture and black things, and that we have um, characteristics that are unique to us, like our hair. And that's when I made the decision to, like, you know what, I'm not gonna straighten my hair anymore. And it took me a long time. Black hair, like curly hair, grows really slow. So it was like 2 years of not relaxing my hair and waiting for it to grow out. And at the time, nobody was doing it. Now you can see curly hair everywhere, but 12 years ago, it was like nobody was doing it. And I was like, everyone was like, what are you doing? Why do you have just crazy hair out there? So, yeah.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I think you should keep it like that. So
Thank you.
how prevalent is this mindset in your community, you would say? And are there, or let's say in Latin America, how prevalent
Hmm.
do you think this mindset that you experience is like yeah, how prevalent do you think it is? Because I would say I noticed it at first whenever I went to, like, I always heard people talk about it in Brazil, but I never seen it because in Rio and Salvador there's so many black people that
Hmm.
all black girls there can't have a white man, so you still see them dating black men. But when I went to Montevideo, Buenos Aires, and Lima, there was many occasions where I would try to, oh look, these are chicks that look like you, like light skinned Afro. And I did it on live. Some people watching right now saw it, and I would speak to them. They can't hear me talking to them, or they don't want me to talk to them at all. And then I turn around and there's a mestiza, and she gives me the time of the day like they should have. I mean, they don't have to do anything, but I'm just saying. So how prevalent it is throughout Latin America? Do you think that's very common?
I think it's common, but I think it's also getting better. People are being like more accepting. I definitely would say Venezuela is still strong on having those pseudo racist opinions about black people in general. Um, but actually, in Lima, I found a lot of acceptance. I think people are more curious here because they don't see a lot of um, black people. Um, but I think we still need some work to do for sure.
So would you say the generations you go back, it's worse, or is it more accepted the older the person is, or the younger
Oh
people have
no,
issues?
no, no. The older, the further you go back, the more internalized the racism is. And my father
Yeah,
would say that my father is a black man, like darker than you, and and obviously darker than me as well. Like, and he would say like the most racist people is the black people.
really.
Yeah,
What was his
in Latin
reasoning?
America, in Venezuela. because it's an internalized racism, is
Okay.
knowing and accepting that, oh, you are less than, and that someone that is lighter or closer to being white, and it's better, and it's how it is. You have sayings, like common things, like, ah, I'm working like a black person, or you're doing this because I'm the black one, right? Like when when you do something bad, or someone blames you for something, you're blaming me because I'm black, right? Even if you're white or black or mestizo or whatever, this is just sayings that are so ingrained in our culture that are a reflection of that internalized racism.
Okay, I could understand that completely. So the
Hmm.
next question I have is, have you encountered? So you said that they're more accepting in Lima, because I was going to ask you, have you encountered similar ideologies in other Latin American countries? What countries have you been to in Latin America?
I haven't been to like other countries in Latin America. I've been exposed to the culture through media like internet, and here you get a lot of tourism as well. So, and I worked there. I went, for a moment, I worked at a place where I interacted with a lot of tourists from all over. But yes, I have. I've been to just Venezuela, Trinidad, and Tobago, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, quickly through Colombia, Ecuador, and now here.
Okay, so would you say that it's in some areas of Latin America it may be worse? Like, how would you compare that this mindset of, because I'm pretty sure it's in Lima, like you said, probably more so with the indigenous
Mm-hmm.
Peruvians. How would you
Mm-hmm.
compare? What do you think is a big difference between the experience you had in Venezuela to what they would have in Peru?
In Peru, it's like I said, it's more of a curiosity. It's something that they don't see all the time, even though they do have. There are like black communities here. They're smaller, a lot smaller than we had in Venezuela. So here is more a curiosity thing. They've never seen like hair like mine, and they're very welcoming in that sense. In Venezuela, we're more mixed, and we had a lot of European immigrants back in the day. So there's this idea that, oh, if you're a European, that's better. That puts you in like a notch up, like a level up in some way. So yeah, I felt a rejection more. Maybe it was a personal experience. I don't know. It could be, but yeah, I felt a lot more rejection back in my country.
Okay, so let me ask you: is your mother white?
She's not white. She's like mestiza, like
Okay,
more like indigenous. Probably she has some Spain DNA there, some black too. So, but she doesn't look black for sure.
okay. So how do you think that? Do you think that media, or let's say, yeah, do you think that media plays into contributing to the racial and dating norms? Like, for example, when I was in Brazil, if you turn on the TV, there was no black people on the TV, but when you walked outside, it was a lot. There was no shortage of black folks when you walked outside.
Yeah,
So, do you think that media plays a huge role in keeping that ideology alive?
especially back in the day. I feel like I'm like an old person, but yeah, early like 90s, 80s, 90s, or 2000s, early 2000s, when we didn't have social media like we have today. I think media played a big role in not having a lot of diversity shown, and people in power, especially in Venezuela, like they looked a certain way. You, I don't think I've ever seen like a black person represented in the media, like it's or the government or anything like that. And I think, you know, uh, like a decade, 2 decades ago, yes, it definitely played a role in it. Even in telenovelas, I know telenovelas in Latin America are huge. So I've never seen a leading role with a black woman or a black man. Never. I don't think that exists. And if it does, well, anyone can correct me, but I've never seen like telenovela with a black person in a leading role.
I would agree. I think the only black leader I've heard of, like on a federal level in South America, was the vice president of Colombia. But
Mm,
outside of that, I
yeah,
don't think, if you look up the federal government of Brazil, there's all white people there. But Brazil is majority black. So
yeah.
there's definitely, it's definitely, the media definitely portrays it in a way where you wouldn't even think that a lot of black people are down there. I remember when I first started traveling, we had a bunch of American women like, "Oh, those are white women y'all are dealing with down there." I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, there's plenty of non-white people in Latin America. Like, they had more slaves in Latin America, and they didn't send them back to Africa either." So,
Yeah.
what discussions, if any, are happening within your community about overcoming racial stereotypes and promoting more inclusive attitudes for dating? Like, is there anybody bringing up a discussion on how they could fix that scenario?
I'm sure there are. I'm not familiar with anyone in particular. Maybe I've come across a few like influencers, but I don't really. I'm not really like an activist. I don't have that activist streak, but I'm sure there are. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. So, do you feel like there's any media that's trying to promote a solution to this? Like, there's, people trying to, like in the United States, we have people that want to encourage black people to be with other black people. Do you see that in Latin America too online?
Online, yes. I think. Yeah. I think a lot of like influencers and are starting to have those conversations. So yeah, I would say so.
Yes. Sorry, what'd you say? It froze at the end.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it just froze.
Yeah. What'd you say at the end?
Um, I don't remember. What was
I
the
think
question again? Let me see if I can rephrase that. I don't
no. I
know.
was saying, like, do you think that there's anybody on social media in?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think there are a lot of people. I've when you scroll on social media, you definitely find people speaking about it. And if I'm gonna give you my opinion on it, I think the conversation should lean more towards leaving that victim mentality instead of okay, like forcing people to understand us and to try to um, feel because sometimes I feel that the messages come across as you have to feel pity because you treated us bad in the past, so you have to, compensate for all the things that we've been through. And I think the a more productive message would be, hey, let's understand our experiences, but from now on, let's just leave that victim mentality and try to work with the tools that we have and just try start seeing people as people and not identify so much as a skin color.
Well, let me ask you this: what is considered black in Latin America? Because I've met some people in Latin America that would be identified as a mestiza from Mexico, but they would say
Mhm.
that they're black. And I was like, yeah, if you go to the United States saying you're black, they'll laugh at you. So, what is the difference between, like, what is black there?
I It's what you look like. I don't think it depends on oh it's just your ancestors and your genetics. It's just do you look black, and if you don't look black, you're not black, and it's so it doesn't make it great because it's very subjective because you can be the blackest person and be super light skinned and we all know that, but that speaks on the state of the conversation here, like what is really black. So I would say it's just the way that you look like and the way that you ultimately identify with.
Okay, okay, I could understand that. So, how has your perspective of this ideology evolved over the years? You told me you've pretty much grown out of it when I met you in person. What were some pivotal
Hmm.
moments of change for you? Like, what were some key moments where you started to wake up? Like I asked you before, where you start to wear your hair natural. What are some other moments you had like that?
I had my phase of being and I don't want to fall into politics right here, but I have my moments when Obama was running for president, and that that whole thing if we choose Latin America because we're so influenced by America in general. So I was following that ideology of, oh my God, I'm a black person and um, I've been through so much, my ancestors and slavery and all of that. So um, I would say around that time, 2008, I was learning more about it, but I was definitely leaning more towards the I'm gonna play the victim card that my people have been through so much, and the world owes me something. Um, and that was a moment where I would say, hmm, after Obama won, and so many things happened, and I was so proud of it because the first black person in the biggest nation in the world um, is a black man. So, but then after that, I started to realize that things are not black and white. There are a lot of gray areas in this subject of being a black person, and the in my very personal opinion, it's so important not to fall into a victim mentality because you're gonna get stuck.
Okay. Okay. So, could you talk about any personal or public figures besides Obama that
Hmm.
influenced your thoughts on race and dating? I know Obama was a really that probably was probably the most impactful. Would you say?
Well, but not in dating. It's just
Well, I guess it could affect dating, right? Because if you see a
it
black man in
could.
a position of power, it could change your perception.
Yeah, it could. I guess it could. Um, but yes. What affected me on dating? I think like dating for me in general is very. It's been a very personal, very unique to me experience. First understanding that yeah, maybe my experience is going to be affected by my race because there are certain mentalities still um, uh, present in Latin America with people having their opinions about Black people. Um, but once I understood that, okay, let's just focus on the people that are interested. And here, a lot of people that are interested are usually or white man or just foreigners. So because they're not like locals are not very interested.
Wow, locals are not very interested. That
No,
sounds bad.
I mean that's fine. I don't want no one that doesn't want me or that wants to
I could agree with that. Yeah, if they don't want me, I don't want them either.
yeah.
C Man sent $5 on Super Chat. He says, "Do you align with the divester movement and date white men, or do you identify as a black woman and date black men today?"
Do you like what is divester movement?
Divester is people that like invest is to put into something. Divest is to take away. So you're taking away from the black community by marrying out, breeding out. You know what I mean?
Mm, no, I don't think I'm taking away anything from anyone because ultimately I see myself as a human being. I don't identify with that community. I'm a human first, and I just happen to be black. And when it comes to dating, I'm just interested in humans, in persons, in character, in values. I'm not interested in, oh, let me see how much melanin does your cells have, So I'm not taking really anything away from anyone.
Okay. Okay. So have you when was the last time you say you dated a black man?
A black man. Well, I haven't dated in like 4 years.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, it was actually when I was like I'm 30 now, maybe when I was 25. Yeah,
A black man.
a black guy.
Okay. And you
I'm sorry, I got caught up.
you said you've not dated in the past 4 years.
Yeah, yeah, since the pandemic.
Okay. Interesting. So, what support systems or resources have you found helpful in navigating and challenging societal norms, like a therapist, or have you used anything besides yourself to overcome that mindset?
A lot of personal growth. I don't, if I could, I would do therapy. I think it's helpful for everyone, but there's a lot of resources online. One of my favorites, Jordan Peterson. I listen to a lot of podcasts, with just people, industry leaders on personal growth and just um, realizing that a lot of ideologies are put in us and beliefs are put in us by our environment. So just leaving that box that the society puts us in. So yeah, it's personal growth and being intentional with the things that you listen to and try to be smart about it as well.
Yes, exactly. So C-Man's $5 for that was a very politically correct answer. I guess you're trying to say if you prefer white meat, say it with your chest.
I don't prefer white meat. I prefer good man. And if the man happens to be black, I welcome it.
Okay, so Ted sent $2 on Cash App. Thank you very much. And Mojo sent $25 for a great interview. Thank you very much. It is a very good interview. We have a very mature guest, and you people in the chat are very. I've never seen y'all act so childish like y'all are. Y'all are about to have a baby because I said Brazil was
Oh,
majority black. Anyway,
I want to read it.
how do you approach conversations about race and dating preferences with younger generations?
I think actually younger generations, like your generation, are very open. And I was reading an article about it the other day. Like Gen Z is like the most open generation there is right now when it comes to dating. They're willing to date Indians, black, white, mestizo, like whatever. So I think they are the ones that maybe have something to teach us, like the millennials or even further back, and to be a little bit more open and to focus on the things that really matter, which are, in my opinion, values and goals. Have similar goals, similar values, and having the same view of the world. Those are the things that truly matter. It's not, are we going to have babies that are black or the same color or whatever. So, yeah.
Okay, that's a great answer. Vulcanus, thank you for the $20 super chat. I appreciate you very much. Uh, got another question. So, can you provide insight into the historical or cultural origins of this mindset within Latin America? Like, what, like, black people are criminals in the States? That image comes from old films that came out in the 1900s or,
Oh,
huh?
I'm going to connect my
I
laptop. I'm listening.
Okay, I forgot the name of the film. There was a film
Mhm.
that came out way back in like 1908, I think it was, and it was showing like black people being rapists, being criminals.
Mhm.
I don't know what the name of it is, but there was a movie that came out like that that depicted black people to look like that. So we gained those stereotypes. What would you say in Latin
Mhm.
America was that equivalent? Like what made the Birth of a Nation was the name of the movie. Birth of a Nation. It was an extremely racist movie, but what it was very racist. I seen it, but what was the?
You gotta watch it.
I would say this too. When I was dating a chick in Peru that was
Mhm.
Colombian, and somehow we got on the topic of Latinas being. She wanted to do something that was against my standards or a boundary. It was against a boundary. She wanted to do something that was very whore like. And so she's like, "Oh well, like Latinas are like this is normal for us here." And I was like, "Okay, well, like that's it can be normal, but that doesn't mean I have to fuck with you." And so
Okay, but
she's like,
what
"Well,
was it? Or you don't want to share
huh?
that? What was it? Or it's something that you prefer not to share?
No, no. She wanted to display herself online, and
Oh, okay.
I was like, yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not even dealing with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we can hook up and all that, but I'm not gonna deal with you seriously ever." So she brought up like, "Oh well,
Gotcha.
just because you're black, I didn't think that you were a criminal." So I was like, "Oh, they have that same perception of black people down here too, that we're just a bunch of criminals." So where do you think that comes from? Like, how did that in Latin America? What is a black man's reputation and how did that come about?
Well, I don't know if this is the same in like every country in Latin America, but I don't know the origins of it, but I've definitely heard something like that here in Peru. Something that I've never really heard back in Venezuela, but here, people refer to like criminals or sketchy people as negros. Like, oh, there are some negros over there, and I don't really know where that comes from. So I don't know. It's not like in the United States where you have black neighborhoods or anything. No, it's different because here everyone's kind of a little bit mixed. So you have in the barrios, you have people from all ethnicities. So, but I don't really know mm, where that necessarily comes from historically. I know that at one point in history, at least in my country, there was this program called like the whitening of society in like 40s, 50s, whatever, where they brought a lot of Europeans to the country to whiten it. Um, but I don't know if from that, people started to get the idea that, black people are criminals. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I will tell you a couple things that I learned was like
Hmm.
in Argentina, they sent black people to war so they would kill them off that way, but then they limited how much success a black they get basically limited black men to have the lowest level of success where their women would be pretty much forced to date somebody that could actually provide for them, and that led to them
Mm.
mixing them out that way. And in Brazil, when they liberated slaves in Brazil, 80% of the population was African slaves. And of course, they were intimidated by that. So they actually encouraged the whole whitening the race. So they encouraged that everybody mix. That's why Brazilians look the way how they do now. And they Italian and German
Yeah.
immigrant from Europe. So for people that are saying like, oh, like Brazil is like 10% black, I mean, I don't think that they breeded all of them out like that. But I mean, I don't expect
Mhm.
I'm expecting too much from some of y'all in the comments anyway. So can you provide insight into the historical or cultural or okay, I already asked you that. Damn it, I just asked you that. Okay. What role do you think education plays in changing these deeply ingrained societal beliefs? Like do you think in the education system they're trying to work out these deeply ingrained mindsets that you need to breed out?
I think there has to be a change because if you're interested in history, and this is something that I think we talked about it when you were here, I'm also kind of like learning history and interested in history. And one of the things that you're going to find when you start learning about Latin America historically and the role Spain and the empire of the in Spain, the Spaniards had over us. And this is, I don't know if there's an expert in history on the chat, but this is kind of like a touchy subject because history is being taught in Latin America in a way where Spaniards are portrayed in a negative lens. And there's something called the Black Legend of the Spain history. And when you look into it and you see the true history of that empire and the reasons that they came here and all the tools and the information that they gave us, there wasn't really their goal wasn't really to kill like the indigenous or get rid of them, or no, it was just to bring all the information. And of course they had their agenda of, okay, culturally we're going to impose this to the society, but at the end of the day, the cultures that we had here as indigenous, as well, mainly indigenous, weren't the best. So ultimately, the best culture won, and that's the culture that we have, where we are currently living. So I think improvement will start by changing the education system and implementing the real history of Spain, I don't know how to call it in English, like El Imperio Español,
Mhm.
the Spain
The
Empire. I think that
conquistadors, the conquistadors.
the conquistadores, yes.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a good start. So because the way that it's been told right now is that those evil people came here, colonized us, And now we're creating resentments. And that they colonized us because they felt that they were superior in many ways. So they decided to bring the blacks, kill the indigenous, enslave the black, and it wasn't necessarily like that. So if you first look into the black legend, if that's how it's called, La Leyenda Negra, of the Spain history, and you learn how things really happened and not the way that it's been taught in Latin American, all of them, Latin American schools, that's when you can start shifting the mindset of, oh, it wasn't necessarily about race, it was more about status and power and money. You know, that sistema de castas, that it was implemented in Asia a lot, like in India.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
was in a way implemented here, but not in the same way. It wasn't necessarily about race, it was more about status. And there was a lot of mix of Black, Indigenous, and Spaniards based on status. So when you really look into it, it wasn't the same sistema de casta that is still actually implemented back in India when it was purely about skin color and whitening of the whole thing. Here, it was a little bit different. I think that because that was back in the day when they colonized us. More recently, we had this other program of whitening of the society, but that was more recently in the last 100 years. I think the shift there really happened mentally for Black people and
You
Indigenous.
know, I've never heard that. I've never heard that. In the United States, they teach us pretty much the same thing that you just said. Like the English came to the
Mhm.
United States and they killed the indigenous and brought the blacks as
I
slaves.
know because that happened. The English colonization was different. The Spaniards did a different thing here, but the English one, yeah, that was like the French thing that they were like, mm, uh, what's the name of this? What's the word that I'm looking for? Like they were murderers, basically. They were ruthless. The Spaniards, it's different, and I would highly suggest you look into that. It's really interesting.
I'm gonna have to look into that because I've never heard that. It's interesting. So I'm gonna have to look into
Yeah.
that. Do you know who wrote that?
It's like a combination of like different people and books. So you just have to start like Google Leyenda Negra, like Black Legend of Spain history.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look that up because I would love to know who wrote those books and where they came from because that plays a big role. I know in the United States they're trying to get rid of the slave history and stop teaching it, but I think that they're doing that just so they can teach as if it didn't happen, which
Mm-hmm.
sounds similar to what you just described.
Mm-hmm.
But not the same, but it sounds similar as if they want to rewrite history.
Yeah, that happens a lot actually. Yeah, it happens in
Okay,
my country a lot with a history of our socialism.
okay, okay. So how has your dating experience been impacted by these societal views? And I don't know why I wrote that one twice, but have you navigated them in your personal life? Did I already ask you that?
I think so
Yeah, I
earlier.
asked you. So,
Yeah.
what advice would you give to someone who is struggling with pressure to conform to similar societal expectations? Like
Mhm.
if they're struggling to actually believe a lot of these beliefs that's been pushed down their throat, what advice would you give to a young girl or a young man?
A young girl, a young man. I don't know. I think the struggles for men are different. I don't know if they would apply, but for girls, is to find an identity, and like avoid that identity to be your skin color. And once you find that identity, that for me, and this is very personal, is in Jesus. That's where my strength comes from. I know who I am because I'm a daughter of God, and I'm a daughter of God first. I'm a human, and I'm not a skin color. And yes, you're probably going to struggle a little bit more, maybe to find like minded people or, people that maybe understand. But yeah, find an identity that is solid and that is not as, you know, unstable as your skin color.
Wow.
Without
Okay.
understanding our background, of course. Like, yeah, you have to. We live in the world, so you have to understand our realities and our experiences and how they are influenced by our environment. We have to understand that, but don't let that to be your identity.
Yes. So Kenneth Johnson just became a new member. Thank you very much. Travel with EJ Wade says back from Costa Rica, Philippines, or Brazil next. I would never vouch for the Philippines, so I would say Brazil. Thank you for the super chat. So I'm gonna save my question for last. I'm gonna save my next question for
Okay.
last. So, in what ways have you actively resisted or challenged these stereotypes? It seems like we wrote the same questions back to back. You've already answered that one. So, how do you think men, particularly Afro Latin men, are affected by these ideologies in the context of dating? Like, what does their life look like since there are a lot of Afro Latinas that may think how you were taught to think? What is his daily life like?
You know, from what I've seen, uh, Afro Latinos, like men, they tend to be more open, to date black women. I've always find that I see a black man and they like it's not uncommon for me to see a black man with a black woman. Like I don't know, I don't. Maybe I haven't been exposed to a lot of black people either. So yeah.
Okay. I guess we might have to interview a Afro Latino to get the exact judgment on that. So, looking forward, how optimistic are you about the possibility of shifting these cultural norms? In other words, what do you think the future is like in the next 10 years, and what do you think it will take? What is the next step that must be done and repeated and practiced for this to change within the next 10 years?
In the next 10 years, I think conversation starters. I think with the rise of social media, a lot of people that are, I hate saying this, but are waking up in a sense to to the reality and not conforming to the beliefs that they acquire from their environments are starting to speak out more, and to in the next 10 years those people that are having babies trying to teach those values to their children, so in maybe 20, 30 years those mentalities start to shift. Is so I would say right now it's personal development, taking responsibilities for your own life, and start to deconstructing those old beliefs that were put there by society, start creating new ones, and then form families, and spread out, good values.
Okay, so let me ask you this:
Yeah.
where would you recommend Black American men that want to date Afro Latina women, where would you recommend that they go? Like for me, it's Cali, Colombia,
Hmm.
it's Salvador or Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Uh, shit, that's really it. That's where else would you recommend in South America?
But what is it that you want? You want to date a black person, or do you want to find a wife? What is it that you guys want?
Well, both. I mean, because even if you just wanted to hook up with them, like I
That's
don't,
anywhere.
I don't see, but with that, when I was in Montevideo and Buenos Aires, and I ran
Mm-hmm.
into black women, it's almost like they couldn't hear me talking to them. But when I went to Cali and Salvador, where there was plenty of black women, they had no, like they were just like normal people, like they could hear me talking to them, and they were interested. But
Mm-hmm.
in other places, it was like they wanted to kind of show out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess for either way, if they want to where let me say this, where can they interact the best with Afro Latinas?
You're putting it hard, because those are two different things. If you want a wife, and I, 'cause I, I don't know, 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 I don't know if your audience wants that's what they want, but if you want a wife, you're gonna find it anywhere, anywhere. You're not gonna be like there are. What I'm trying to say with this is there are good people and bad people in every country, and I guess there are cultures that are better than other ones, but mainly in the Americas as a continent, you can find a wife anywhere. You just have to be a decent human being, a decent man. If you want to hook up, that's a different story. As a black man, I understand that there are struggles, and those struggles are mainly defined by how black people are seen in Latin America. So go to countries where there are plenty of black communities where they're more welcoming in general. So yes, I would say definitely Colombia. I would say even in Central America, El Salvador, or even Venezuela. You can go to Venezuela. You can go to Brazil. Um, yeah, or
Okay.
even here in Lima, I've seen a few black men with like mestizas here. So
No, what we're talking about, no, just black men that want black women, not the
oh, what
mestizos. Like,
black? Oh, right, right. Yeah, the Peru was the only one that wouldn't be in that list. So yeah, um, Brazil, Colombia, El Salvador, Venezuela. Yeah,
okay, again, I would say I got the best result in Cali, Colombia, and Salvador by here, Brazil. So would you say you brought up Venezuela? HG chilling,
yeah.
thank you for the follows, Cash App. Would you say that Venezuela was is it safe for somebody to go looking for that there right now?
Safe. I think you can do tourism there. Yeah, but I wouldn't live there just because of the social economic environment. But yeah, I think it's safe for you to do tourism. Yeah, it has changed in the last 5 years for sure. When I left Venezuela, it was a mess, and now it has changed. I wouldn't say it's a great place to live, but if you have the money, because it's also expensive, it's like going to New York. Um, but if you have the money and you like pretty girls, I guess.
So would you say that a lot of Afro Latinas are feminists more so than the mestizos?
Feminist. I think that there's a higher probability that they fall into feminism because of that narrative of, you know, being black, and that is usually that you hear it from a lot from the left and you know black pride, and there are different ideologies that go side to side, and when you fall into those pools of being proud about being black and victimizing yourself in a way, even though that probably wouldn't be the term that they use, but yes, those ideologies usually come in a package, and they tend to come in the same package as feminism.
Okay, makes sense.
It
Yeah,
could,
Marty,
it's a, yeah,
huh?
yeah, yeah.
No, he was just bringing up the fact because I told you I was getting rejected by a lot by the Afro Latinas on live, and
Mm,
just it was very uncalled for, very unusual, but not my problem. So the next super chat is from Sheedy. Says she is a lost buck, broken woman, very similar liar to many black women in America who hate themselves.
last back broken. That's a lot. Yeah. I just
Yeah, there.
sometimes think like how how much pain do you have to be in your life to write that, and to say that publicly? That's just funny.
I don't know. I don't. I told that's why there's a lot of people upset in the chat, and I don't know why.
Why
Like,
is that? Put more comments. I want to see what they're saying.
yeah, they're. I don't know, but that's usually when I bring black women on, everybody has a diaper that needs to be changed. So She said $5 for again for she doesn't know what she's talking about and it's crazy. 90% of black men won't be able to get a visa to travel to Venezuela. Terrible guest.
I don't think the visa issue is because you're black. It's just because Venezuela and the United States have, their problems, but it's not impossible. I didn't say it was easy to get in because I know there are some visa, uh, protocols that you have to, apply for or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah. If you guys have any more questions, I told you guys you need a super chat. We got about 950 people watching in between Twitter and YouTube. So, uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, some people are just upset. They think that
What do they think? People that are like sending super chats, like what? Why are most people upset about?
they were upset with me because I said Brazil was 80% black when they liberated slaves, and I mean that's just.
But if
I
it's
mean,
a fact, why are you upset about something that happened a long time ago? It's
well,
just
let me ask this: what American slave colony, whenever the slaves were liberated,
mm,
when they feel that the whites outnumber the slaves? Like that didn't
what?
happen in Haiti, that didn't happen in the United States, that didn't happen in Brazil, that didn't happen in Argentina. There's
Mm,
more white people than the slaves. Like
yeah, well,
so, I
I
mean,
I didn't hear that.
yeah, I don't get it. Some of these dudes are just let me just call it it's bitch energy. Let me just say that. So do you have a few minutes to I mean it really is like I have patience so I can like sit here and just look, but like man, they're getting on my nerves with some of these comments. Uh do you
It's
uh
fine.
do you have time for somebody that wants to talk to you?
Sure.
Okay, because I know you say you gotta leave in a minute. So yeah, you guys she told me she had to leave at 3:30, which is in like 13 minutes. So if you're gonna call, I just dropped the link. You gotta make it
Oh, what
quick.
time is what time is over there?
Oh, 3:30 your time.
My time.
Oh, okay, well we got time then. So it's
Yeah,
three
this is fun.
yeah, it's like 3:18 right here. Yeah, it's plenty of bitch energy in the crowd. I'm glad some of you guys can see that. Like some of you
Should
guys
have brought a drink or something.
look. Yeah, they're mad because I'm to be honest with you, I do think it is a black chick because we just had an Afro, not an Afro, we just had a Colombian chick on in there. I mean, she got some people are gonna talk shit every day, but not like this.
That's
I
fine.
dropped
That
uh
means that I'm stroking some chords, so that's good.
what's your views on white Jesus and Christianity carrying white supremacist aspects and ideologies from
Uh,
CJ?
I think I think you haven't read the Bible. If you think Jesus and Christianity is carrying white supremacist aspects or whatever ideologies, it's not. I am 100% sure that you've never read the Bible.
So what would you say it is? Because they're gonna want to know
Jesus
what you're
is
coming.
Yeah, well, Jesus' message is clear. It's super simple. Just two commandments. Believe in the Lord. Like believe in the Lord above anything else. And the second one, love your brother as you love yourself. That's it. He didn't say anything about white people. That people are using God's word for whatever ideology that they're following. That's another thing. But Jesus' message is clear as day. We are brothers, regardless of our skin color. It's not we are brothers. Oh, the black people are brothers and the white people. No, no. We, as a planet, as a human race, we are brothers, and we have to love Him first. We have to love God first above anything else, and then we have to love our brothers as we love ourselves. And if we don't love ourselves, you can see it in the comments that they don't love themselves because they can't love other people.
Okay. So we have. Let me bring up one caller really quick.
Okay.
Hey, yeah, I think this was a awesome guest. I think the guest did a great job. Um, you know, and I think the people in the chat, if they want to talk some smack or they have something to say to you, I think they need to get up on here. And I'm very confident that you can defend yourself. I mean, your English is great. You got beautiful hair.
Thank you.
You're a great person. So I think you handle yourself well. And, I'm glad that Austin met you in Peru.
Thank you.
That's all. That's all I had to say, Austin.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you guys.
All right.
See ya.
So we got Daniel calling in. Let me read this super chat first. J.K. Perkins sent $5 for these guys don't like you because you don't worship black men like they believe all foreign women do. That does have a lot to play into it as well, I believe.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Hi, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Good.
Hello.
Gemma, right?
Yes.
Nice to meet you. Well, I'm happy you're telling the truth because a lot of Latinas, Afro Latinas, don't actually want to explain and say the truth about how they feel and everything that's going
Mm-hmm.
on in Latin America. And I appreciate that. It's unfortunate that Latin America makes black women, black men feel inferior, but it's basically
Yeah.
because of economic situations. Black people haven't really gotten a lot of opportunities in Colombia and in Venezuela. I've lived in both countries.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand it. And I appreciate that you're able to recognize it because a lot of Latinas don't recognize that and aren't able to actually express that. So
Yes.
that
Yes.
I like to say thank you for that because living here for like 10 years, I've spoken to a lot of women about this situation and they want to deny it, and a lot of them don't want
Yeah.
to say that they're black, even though they're darker than me. They have curly hair and stuff, so it's
That is so
unfortunate.
true. Yeah, it is very unfortunate. That is so true. A lot of people, this is weird as well. Like you can see the in their features that they're black and they deny it. Like
Yeah,
I'm not black, and it's well, it's how it is. You are. Yeah.
yeah. So one thing I want to say to a lot of like the YouTubers that try to promote going to Colombia, going to Venezuela, and stuff like that. They think that like we're accepted in society and in Latin America, like they like us, and it's really because they like our pockets, they like our money, right? But
Mm-hmm.
so that's kind of why we're accepted and like the girls like us and etc. But if you really meet and understand the culture, you'll understand that like we're not the most desirable people. What's desirable here is our money. So once we don't provide them money, they won't be desirable here. So I would like to YouTubers to mainly promote countries with majority black people. That's like Kenya, like maybe
Mm,
DR, things like that. Those are probably better places where people can actually be accepted for not just their wallets, but actually for their personality, the way they're that physically and things like that. I don't know what Austin has to say about that.
No, I can agree with what you're saying. And I'm going to address some comments that I'm getting. Let me read these two super chats really quick. JD says, remember that they told us America was the most racist country. Looks like it's racist everywhere. Uh, I think blacks have it the best in America when it comes to the places where blacks were slaves at. You damn sure ain't got it the best in Haiti. So Chaos said $10 for I dated a Colombian for 14 years. Some of them like black, some like white. It's pretty normal for them to date whoever you like. Yeah, Ray Charles could have told you that too. Thank you for the super chat. So go ahead and continue, Daniel. I think that it is. I mean, we all know my stance on this. I think that it is true. I mean,
mm-hmm.
it's what it
Yeah.
is.
But if you just look at into like artists, political uh, position, you don't see black people, right? In Colombia and Venezuela. Just now, there's a vice president in Colombia that's black, and she's getting a lot of heat. So,
Mm-hmm.
and It's unfortunate. I don't really see changing anytime soon.
Yeah.
Because well, the white people have extremely like power in terms of financial power, political power, even in commercials. That's why when you're in America, people don't even realize how much black people are in Colombia. It's even the higher percentage than in America, right? It's like 50% in America, but in Colombia, it's like over 30%. But you don't see that on the news stations. You don't see that in political positions, even in sports, advertisements. It's kind of unfortunate. I would recommend like places like Cuba. I feel like is a little bit better in terms of recognition. You could see like Cuban black artists, popular and things like that. So yeah, it's pretty much, there's few places in the world where being black is cool. You could say probably Cuba, DR, but even in the DR, if you're too dark, then you're hated, so people aren't gonna like you there. But yeah, Africa. So I don't really see
Let
the
me
reason to. Mhm.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. CJ Banks says, so if Christianity is not about white supremacy, then why is in Latin America in every church Jesus is white? Take down all the images. I mean, even in the United States,
Yeah, it's super white.
I ain't never. I only time I seen a black Jesus was in a black person's house.
Yeah, and the thing is that Jesus wasn't black. He was like the Middle Eastern look. So he wasn't black. He wasn't white. He probably looked very Jewish. Like, so we just happen to represent him in the way that the culture at the time thought he looked like, because that's what um, uh, I don't want to say supremacy because I don't agree, but that was like the dominance, the look of authority. That's the word that I was looking for. That's the look of authority that they wanted to show to the masses. But we know that that's not an accurate representation of Jesus. Like, we know for a fact. We have a new image in, I don't know, in Europe, maybe probably Italy or somewhere, where they took the blanket of Turin. Is that the name in English? I'm sorry. They recreated the image of Jesus with the blanket, and it's like a wax figure somewhere in a casket, like a glass casket, and he doesn't look white. He looks Jewish. So
Uh, Travel with author E.J. Wade says the strange part is superior groups like Germany and Estonia all love black men. It's all mental. I will say that Germans at one point, Hitler did believe that they were the superior race. I haven't been to Germany to confirm that. Um, I've never believed that Hitler and other Germans and people in that part of the world just love. I think we got to clarify what love is. Like, there's a difference between being fascinated and actually loving somebody.
That's a fantasy, a sexual fantasy. That's what they
Yeah,
have.
I'm fascinated with. I don't shit. I'm trying to make an analogy out of this. I'm fascinated with, a watch, but I don't love it.
mhm.
I don't. I'm not gonna risk my life for the damn watch. That's when you. I love my family members. I would risk my life for them. I
Yeah.
don't think. I don't think. I don't think some of these Europeans that y'all are talking about are gonna jump in front of a bullet for you. I'm just not seeing that.
Yeah. Right now, oh, you're in Paraguay, right?
Yeah.
In Paraguay too. I was there a few months ago. Like the girls like black men, but it's more of a sex fantasy type thing.
Yeah.
That's what
It's. There's been plenty of times here in Paraguay where it's been like two times, and in two really good times we hook up, and then they just fall off, and I'm like, it's that same just I want to try it energy shit.
Yep.
exactly. That,
Yeah.
that same shit happened to me too when I was there. I was fucking
That
with this
happens
girl
a lot.
that, yeah.
It happens
That
even
happens.
for women. We are fetishized a lot. Something out. They want to try something different, something that they've never seen or experienced. So
That's
that happens a lot.
that's why if you're black man and you really want to be connected to a culture, you got to go to a place where it's majority black, and or at least black have power, economic power. and political
Well, let
power,
me
which is
let me ask you this, Jima. What I'm saying your name right, right?
Well, in English, yes. In Spanish, the G is an H, so it's Hema.
Hema. Okay, so what if we know that there's a fetish to, let's say, mestizas and just regular white women that just want to try black men? They don't actually love them, you know. Do you think that's like very, very common, or is that just some mestizas? Like, is it more than 50% you think are like that, or less?
What I'm saying with it's common is not necessarily within Black people. It's people outside of the race that they want to try a Black person. So I wouldn't. I don't think I've seen like, oh, it's just a Black woman. They want to try a Black man. No, it's like a white looking person or an indigenous person or a mestiza or mestizo, like a man. Oh, they want to try a Black person because it's something different and it's, oh, I want to see what's that. So that's what I've seen.
And you can tell by how they talk, because like I've been even in Peru, this one girl was trying to introduce me to her friend. She's like, the first thing she's saying, "Come see this Negro," come see this Negro. Like it's not, I got a guy. She wants to make sure that she emphasizes the Black guy. It's just more of a, come try this out, and then that's it. So Travel Lover says, "Hello, beautiful Hema. You are an intelligent lady. I like your educated answers. Great guest. English is excellent. I don't hear any accents. God bless." She does have perfect English, you
God
see.
bless you, travel lover.
Star Stevenson, $10. But I support your channel. Thank you very much for supporting me. Tomorrow's my birthday, so we're gonna do
Oh,
an IRL stream here in Paraguay in a new city we're at now. So I appreciate it. Thank you for the super chats. But yeah, so there is a lot of fetishizing. Uh, I don't know. That's why I love places like Salvador Bahia, because I found it more common for me to have women that didn't want to leave the house when they were Black,
mm,
versus the white chicks. I've only, again, even in the past 8 months, all the white or mestiza chicks that I've dated, it just seems like they just wanted to fuck, or they just wanted to hang around for a little bit and then they gotta go. And don't say I'm not
mm.
doing my job, because it was good, but it's I'm just saying it's just
Uh,
it noticing
I,
some dudes disagree.
I
Now,
would say the white.
I'm not saying you can't find a mestiza that doesn't love you, because I've seen actual
of
mestizas that
course.
think they actually love it, but as a collective is not. And somebody said you just want to fuck too often. That's not the point. Yes, that is the thing, but sometimes I want to watch a movie together.
Yeah, but
You
I
know,
would say if your economic status is really high in Latin America, like in Colombia or Venezuela,
Hmm.
it will make up for the fact that you're black. Say that. Like for me, like I have a lot of nice cars out here in Colombia, so I'm young, I'm pretty much able to hook up with whatever race. But I know if I didn't have those cars, a penthouse, etc., I know that those girls wouldn't be so like fond with staying with me for a long time. Because I remember when I first got to Colombia like 10 years ago when I was like 19 and I was living in like the lower barrios, it wasn't easy to get those like the white girls, the white Latinas and stuff. And now because I'm more financially stable, etc., like I'm able to get any race. But yeah, it's more because of my financial status.
well,
I
one
think
thing
that's
is being
true.
Black, you gotta have some money. Like you can't be Black and broke
Yeah,
nowhere in the world.
that's worse.
Not even in the United States, you can't be Black and broke. So you damn sure can't go to Latin America being Black and broke. So it makes it easier. I think that's why, in my opinion, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'll let you answer this one, but do you think that a Black American man is more likely to get with a mestiza than a local
Oh
Colombian
yeah,
Black?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
That's because of the
yeah.
But
economic
again,
stuff, right?
right now, like now in Colombia and stuff, like being a Black American is not special anymore because there's so many of them, right? So it's not, you got to offer way more, I think, than just like having an American passport. That's not enough because walk the border and go to America. So that's not what they look for anymore.
So that was my point though. So a black American is more likely to get with a non-black Colombian woman because of the socioeconomic status,
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
which means that they don't really like you.
Exactly.
And that is the other point that I think Daniel mentioned is that it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a wife and you go to these countries and you don't speak perfect Spanish and you're looking for a girl, you're probably going to find it, but she's not going to be interested in you. She's going to be interested in what you can get her, which is status, which is financial stability. But what that makes you is replaceable. The moment that your character is not adding to her, that she didn't fall in love with you, but with what you can provide, you're replaceable. And the next best thing is going to come and it's going to take your spot.
Yeah.
And I would add to that the Colombian that I was talking about I met in Peru. She was very on point, very into me, it seemed. And when I got back to the States, I'm not gonna say what kind of profession she does because whatever. I don't want her to know I'm talking about her. But anyway, she asked me could I promote her business that she owned, which was a business that a lot of people could, have access to, like men and women would enjoy what she was selling. And I posted on her story. I mean, on my story on my Instagram, and I was like, no, because I know that you motherfuckers in this chat will be all in her DMs, and then y'all are gonna make a problem for me. So I was like, no, 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 I have too many men that follow me. I don't feel like the extra issues. She's like, oh, you're worried about another gringo is gonna take me. I'm like, actually, if somebody else can take you, you can kick rocks. I really don't give a damn. I just don't want to. I don't want to create the problem at the same time. And after that, she kind of fell off because she was trying to use me because I have a
Mhm.
stat. I have 100,000 subscribers. I have. If I was to post her stuff, and she's a good-looking chick, she's very attractive. It
Mm.
would work. It would work for her, and I wouldn't benefit at all. So she's trying to use me. Uh, Again, which is why I believe that because we are Black Americans from the United States, we do have a better chance than the locals here. But anyway, if you guys disagree, we got a lot of. I mean, y'all have a lot of stuff to say in the chat. If you disagree, call into the show. Like that's the thing. She's here. She said she was having fun uh, listening to y'all. So join the show. And if somebody said the men from these countries would be the best to interview, I call bullshit on that because more than likely, there's a higher chance the men might try to deter you from wanting to go to the country. Like I might say, hey, I went to Salvador and I was having a good time. And then you bring a local on, he's like, yeah, these chicks aren't gonna want y'all like that when y'all get down here. Like dudes do that kind of stuff.
I get annoyed though with the YouTubers that be like, come to Medellin, come to Cartagena, da da da. Like they like us. Like that's bullshit. Like it's not true.
Yeah,
Maybe Cali, but like
yeah,
it's really bullshit.
yeah. But y'all need to just listen to me. I'm your only friend. She exposed her real intentions. Good job. Yeah, that's what I was talking about on Patreon. Yeah, I should get a male voice. We can get a male interview, but I'm telling you, the chances of it, it's gonna be hard to find an honest guy. As to John that sent $5 for happy birthday, Austin. Thank you very much. Smooth Life sent $5 for can the caller please came up. Thank you very much for the super chat. Let me switch out callers really quick though.
All right. Thanks again for the letting me on this on your
Oh
stream.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you. All right.
Austin, man,
What's
salute,
going on?
salute, salute to Austin. And I'm just now coming in, but I'm just now looking at the title. Look, Austin, I've been to Lima, and I was cold approaching all those Afro Latinas. My success rate was high. It was different. It was completely different experience than yours. I was actually having more success with the Afro Latinas than the light skinned mestizos, to be honest with you. And the thing is, when I were approaching the Afro Latinas, the local dudes wasn't getting jealous. But as soon as I start approaching the mestizos, the dudes were kind of getting jealous. So they don't care. So they don't care if you talk to the Afro Latinos, but somehow they started to get that jealousy aspect of it. But what I'm trying to say is, I my experience in Colombia, Costa Rica, because I've been there. Costa Rica has a lot of
Wait,
Afro
what race are
Latinos.
you? What race are you?
Drop. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, what race are you?
Can you guys?
What race are you?
I can't hear you. Can you repeat?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I think that was just him. I'm wondering, but anyway, my experience was the complete opposite of his. First of all, nobody ever seemed jealous when I was talking to the women ever. At least I didn't see it. And nobody, yeah, the good thing about me is I got all this on video. Like I got all this on video. So it's, Smooth Life asked, well, Austin, why didn't you question Daniel's race? Because Daniel was agreeing. If he disagrees, then I'm gonna try to figure out why there may be a disagreement. D-Max $10 for 90% of the women in the world want a man with money status, especially in America. Money can always trump color. Thank you for the $10 super chat, but I disagree with you.
I disagree as well. I think being goal-oriented, driven, ambitious, that's more important than, I got a lot of cash. I mean, if you're working towards something and you're passionate about something, I think that has a lot of weight as well. And to getting women.
Yeah, it's if you guys want to call in, the link is right here. The thing is, you again, like she was saying earlier, you can the next best thing can come along, and if the chick is not really into black dudes, but you have everything, she's making a temporary exception until the next one comes along that she really wants. In my opinion.
Yes. Yeah, but it goes back to what is it that you want and what type of women are you looking for? Because it goes both ways. If the girl is only looking for the money, but the guy's only looking for the looks, well, that's what you're gonna get. You only want to be with her because she's hot, and she only wants to be with you because she got money, quote unquote. So you can't really ask her much. You can't really ask her for love and connection and faithfulness when you're only using her because she's super hot, and she's only using you because you got money. So it's like a fair trade, I think.
Yeah. So Ashton sent $10, but thank you for introducing me to the term leyenda negra.
Yeah, look into it. That's really interesting. You're going to be surprised. I would encourage everyone to do that.
X Trigger Mortiz X sent $10 for listen, I don't read the Bible. 5:15 says Jesus died for all men, and that he died for all, that they which live should not henceforth live unto themselves, but unto him which died for them and rose again. Please don't send any more old English. I read new English.
There's a new translation that is more easier to understand.
Hey, Katono, please relax in the chat. I don't know why you guys are so, especially if you're not black. Like, why is it such a big deal if you're not black? But I mean, it's not that big of a deal, man. We're just having a damn discussion. Anyway, thank you, Kentono, for the $2 super chat as well. Jaquise.
It's pronounced Jock, like Jacques Cousteau.
Jaquise.
No, it's pronounced Jock, like J-O-C-K.
Oh, Jock.
Yeah. I got a quick question. I make this quick as I'm at work, and I'm also kind of fighting a little cold. Has the global success of Afro-American celebrities like a Michael Jordan or a LeBron James, has that affected how Afro-Latinos see themselves or are seen by other people as far as physical attractiveness?
I think Austin first.
Go
Is that
ahead.
question for me?
That was a question for you.
Oh, thank you, Jax. I think romantically, not necessarily. I think one thing in Latin America that we are fully aware of is our genetic advantages when it comes to sport. So I think the influence is more of, oh, we can achieve all these sport related things because it's in our quote unquote genetics. And but I don't think romantically, I'm not sure if that was the question, but I don't think romantically has any influence. But definitely when it comes to um, uh, this, like the sports potential for sure.
Oh no, well that was the question as far as romantically, because I once saw a video of I think it was G Unit down there in Brazil, and these white Brazilian women seem to be going insane over Lloyd Banks and Tony Ayo, and I was just wondering, did that help the plight of darker skinned black men down there in Brazil because of the fame and notoriety of many darker skinned Afro Americans? That was the question. So you're saying no?
Yeah. No, I don't say. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's just an influence on. Oh, we can achieve those things. We can reach that level of fame, and it's great. But romantically, I don't think it's personal opinion. I don't think it has any influence on. Oh, it's an event. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
So let me read a couple of these super chats. Y'all left some funny comments a minute.
Read them.
She sent $10, but don't take any advice from women. All relationships are transactional. Here we go. Women are not capable of love. They love how they make you feel. You have to get with a woman who respects you. Okay.
Women
So is
are
respect
not capable of
transactional?
love.
Are you buying respect? Is what you're saying? Because you said it's transactional. So are you buying respect? We're not going to debate about that today, though. I'm tired of debating about paying for sex and all these little women don't actually love men. Like, listen, I'm trying to tell y'all, I'm trying to give y'all some free game, man. X Trigger asks Austin, how did you do with white women? It depends on where you talk about in the world, but I did the best in Latin America with them. D-Max says 2 dudes, one have money and one don't. Both guys are equal. She's going with them. We're talking about race, man. We're talking about race. We're not talking about resources. We already know about being broke and not being broke. We already know about that. So was Jesus a Mizrahi Jew, Ethiopian Jew, or Ashkenazi Jew, or Ashkenazi? What kind of Jew did he look like?
I don't. Those are like the tribes. I'm not familiar with the look of each tribe, but probably not the Ethiopian Jew. Um, just because of the rest of the apostles' context, historical context. So I don't know the answer, but yeah, he was in black. That's the point.
Okay, so we got a Jakari Sky on. What's going on?
Hey, what's good with you, Austin?
How you doing?
Hey, I'm pretty good. I'm just chiming in on what y'all talking about. I've been living in Bogota. I'm in Bogota, Colombia for about 5 months. So I'm just chiming in on my experience with the Afro-Latina Afro-Colombian. I will say out here, man, in Bogota is a little different than like coastal, spots like Cali and Cartagena and stuff like that. It's a lot of well-off people in the north side of Bogota, well-off girls. And I will say the machistas, they not really vibing with the black guys. But the Afro Colombians, I feel like they vibe with me a lot. Like I get a lot of choosing signals, date naps. I get a lot of matches. So I kind of disagree with the point where you say Afro Latinas are kind of steering away from the black men. At least from my experience, I'm getting a lot of success out here in Bogota with the Afro Colombians for sure.
Let me read this super chat really quick. D-Max sent $5 for. I'm calling cap on a lot of things Himmler is saying. I travel with my friends and we're all black. We have zero problem attracting women of all color. Listen, please listen. I don't think you guys are understanding what we're saying. Of course,
Yeah.
it's not 100% of the time. Of course, it's not. Of course, it's not. I've been with damn near every nationality. Listen, of course, it's not. Listen to me. I'm your only friend. I'm just telling you that it's not. I wouldn't recommend it. You know, I want to recommend I generalize things. Generally speaking, if you go to Buenos Aires, you're not getting a black woman. That doesn't mean that won't happen when you go there. But I'm saying, generally speaking, would I recommend you here? Let me make it very simple. Would I recommend you go to Buenos Aires to find a black woman? That's what I'm saying. So I'm just not recommending certain things. Yeah, and why? Yeah, please stop asking questions about the Bible. I'm not even understanding. We're talking about Afro Latinas and stuff, man. Y'all look crazy. Okay. So that's the last super chat. So what else were you saying?
No, I'm just saying in my experience, and I'm in Bogota, right? Bogota, like I said, it has a lot of well-off Colombians in the north side of Bogota. It's kind of like the New York of Colombia. A lot of business-minded folks. And what I've seen in Bogota, like if you go to the north side, Zona T, that's where like all of the gringos are at. Zona T, that's like the high-scale areas. You will see the the lighter skinned Colombians. Typically, they were white. They were white men. They were white men. But from my knowledge, even when I go to malls, I see a lot of black Afro Latinas choosing. Like I don't have any problems, and I don't even have problems with the white Colombians either. I think it's because I'm American, of course. But I feel like the lighter skinned Colombians are more into white guys, and that's just how it is. You know what I mean? But I think honestly, if you're a black man, you got your stuff together. I don't see Afro Latinas not choosing you. I don't see how that's the case.
Afro Latinas not choosing you.
Yeah, because you saying Afro Latinas don't want us, basically, right?
I mean, that's a clickbait title, so y'all watch the
Okay.
video.
Okay.
Because if I titled the video, "Let's learn about Afro Latinas," yeah, I would have 30 people watching this video right now.
Facts. Fair enough. So what are you really saying then? Because I might be talking out of my ass right now.
Nothing. I'm not saying nothing. I think y'all should know me by now that I just title stuff a certain way so y'all will watch it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, but that's my experience, man. Bogota, I feel like, I see a lot of white men killing it with the north, on the north side. When I see the baddies out here in Bogota, they literally got a white man on their arm most of the time. You know what I mean? And in terms of Afro Latinas, I feel like they're interested in black Americans for sure out here.
Well, what I was saying was it depends on where you're at.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like if you're in Cali and they have plenty of other black men are not even without the black American men, their black men are in no shortage in Cali, Colombia.
Facts.
So it's not gonna be, it's not gonna be hard to date them over there. It's gonna be just like dating a normal chick. But if you go to Buenos Aires, where she sees one black guy a week, at best, they might feel like they're doing something wrong, but like they should be with somebody else instead of you, is what I'm saying.
Facts, no facts. And I will say, a lot of since I've been out here in Colombia, a lot of things that people say about Colombia is just not very true. And granted, it could be in Bogota. Maybe it could be a Bogota thing because I've been in Bogota this whole time. I haven't been in, Cali, Cartagena. But being in Bogota, the women here, they are very much feminist. They're not as, I know a lot of people think you're in the States. You're like, I'm gonna go to Colombia. It's all, these women are submissive. No, that's not the case. And not in Bogota at least. They're career driven. They're super feminist. I don't know, everything you think like that men think about outside of Colombia. You come here, you're gonna get a whole different taste. You're gonna be like, what? I thought it was like this, but no, you got to be on your shit. They got game just like American women. They got game out here too. You know what I mean? So you got to be on your P's and Q's. You got to watch out because these women are not dumb. They're not stupid. You know what I mean? And yeah.
Can
So
I
I
say
mean,
something?
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. When you say they got game, what do you exactly mean? Because what type of women are you looking for? Women that are not able to, reply in a conversation, that don't understand certain subjects, that are quote unquote dumb, or what do you mean when you say they got game?
I feel like okay. So I'm from Chicago, right? I'm born and
Mm,
raised in Chicago, and honestly, women play games nowadays, no matter where you at. So when I say run game, they play game. They play games. They do the. I'm not gonna text them. I might be interested, but I'm not gonna text them back for 12 hours.
mm,
I'm not gonna make myself too available. So they still play games, and that's women game. Women's game is to play games. You know what I mean? That's the opposite side of the coin. Is women play games. That's their game. To make it seem like they're not that interested, to make it seem like you're not the only one. You know what I mean? To make it seem like you're
yeah.
gonna try harder.
Yeah, and I think that's a general thing. I don't think it's something that you're not gonna find in a certain country. It's just how it is nowadays with a lot of immature people and just not knowing how to express interest the right way. So yeah, thank you for clarifying that. Just sometimes I get a little bit confused because what is exactly that you guys are looking for? I'm not talking about you, Jakario, just in general. Like, what is it that you're looking for? Someone that doesn't have an opinion. That because when you say submissive to what? You can be a career-driven woman. You can be ambitious, but be submissive in a relationship to your man as well at the same time. So, and I'm not attacking you in any way. I'm just like trying to understand like what is it that you guys are looking for when you go to Austin's channel.
Honestly, I think I'm a little different, but I'm just speaking in general. I feel like most
Hmm.
men, like the general census of when people talk about Colombia, when people talking about moving out of state, moving abroad, they say women are submissive, women are this, women, go here if you want to get a wife. That's what people say, generally speaking. I'm not
Hmm.
that. I'm really not that guy. I didn't come to Colombia because I couldn't do well in the States. I did well in the States with women. I'm not here for that. I'm here for the low cost of living. My homie lives out here. He's from Bogota. He was like, bro, come out here. You can save a lot of money. You're an IT manager. You're making good money. You know what I'm saying? Save up your money and you know what I'm saying and enjoy. But I'm just talking about the stereotype. A lot of the stereotypes when you talk to American men is I'm gonna go out the country because the women are submissive. They gonna listen to me.
Hmm.
And a lot of men in America think that they can just come to Colombia and win, and that's just not the case. You can't just come to
Well,
Colombia and win. That's not. It's a cheat code, but it's not the end all be all. You still got to work on yourself. You still got to be. You got to take care of yourself. You got to have your career in order. You got to be a man of purpose. You can't just come to Columbia and win. You got to be a man that women gonna want to look up to, no matter where you at. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Just Jeffrey says it's mejor la raza big in South America, just in Mexico. I think that's all of Latin America is like that.
yeah.
Chaos said I did just well. I did well in the States means I just had sex. Yeah, I think that is what that means. Uh, Murder Two Way said somebody get Dr. Umar in here to battle this whitewashed woman.
Whitewashed. Wow. That's funny.
Would you consider yourself whitewashed?
Whitewash? No, not at all. I've never been to any of the Caucasians countries. Like, no, I haven't been influenced, in my opinion. Maybe through media, I've heard messages. I don't even know what that means. Whitewashed. Like, I
Well,
know what does really mean.
like they washed all the black identity out of you and they left you with the white.
That's the thing. That's the key right there. Identity. My identity is not in my skin color. I don't
What's
identify first as a black person.
okay? So, hey, Jakari, I appreciate you calling in. Let me bring in the next caller really quick. We got two more
Appreciate you.
callers. Appreciate it, man. Uh, McGrady, Kobe, what's going on?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. First and foremost, man, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Break down all the barriers. Basically, I'm saying, as a guy that's traveled to multiple parts of Latin America, there's some truth in what both of you are saying. But what I see a lot of people in the comments, it's like they have a defeated mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, every race of woman wants a guy of a certain archetype. You know, I was just in Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, and we're winning everywhere. Has nothing to do with skin tone. It's the way you carry yourself. Can you dress? Can you articulate yourself? Bottom line, you know what I mean? I've been with all sorts of women. I'm petty. You know what I mean? I'll see a tall Russian blonde chick, and I'll go flirt with her right in front of God know who. It might be a brother, might be a boyfriend. I don't know. I'm petty because I don't see myself as below. You know, complaining about do black men get wins here, or black men this, or black men that. Like, nobody's thinking about that outside of the States many times. You know what I mean? Like, I lived in Mexico 2 years, and I had people had to tell me to get out of the American mindset. You know, so my 2 cents is a lot of the guys saying that, oh, they don't like black men. Let me see how you dress. Let me see how you conduct yourself. Are you afraid to go in different bars, nightclubs, lounges, things like that, golf courses, places that you may not go to get the women that you really want? You know what I'm saying?
Let me say, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's a difference between getting pussy and just being wanted at the same time. Because what I'm hearing is basically I can smash whatever chicks I want. You know, I can do that too. You know, I've been with Romanian, I've been with mestizos in South America, I've been with pretty much everybody except Indians, right? So it's not that. It's just what I'm trying to tell dudes is if you want to pursue Afro Latinas, don't take your ass to Buenos Aires. You know, don't go to Montevideo. You know, it's not if you can smash or not. It's this is strictly for men that I mean, because at one point I want a chick that I'm gonna actually be around more often. And some of the fetish is not good for long term if you can't even get her to come watch a movie after y'all and she just wants to smash. That's cool. That's cool. But like, what if I want some quality time? I don't always want to smash.
I mean, I mean, if we're talking in general, we're talking about you saying that's what you hear me saying, like.
No, I'm just saying because like you're saying, well, how do you dress? You know, and sometimes it really don't matter how good you dress. Is if somebody doesn't like you, they just don't like you.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I could be speaking from a different space. I work in fashion, and I work with models from all over. Models in South America. Receipts can validate it, can send it privately. I won't do it publicly. So my experience probably is different than a lot of guys. You know, I'm speaking from a completely different space, to be honest. So I can't relate. You know, so I don't know. You know, and I know a lot of other brothers that can't relate as well. You know, so I guess what I'm saying is I think we got to stop looking at ourselves in a certain light because I think it's bullshit. I've seen all sides of it.
Well, let me give you a perfect analogy. I love black women first, mestizas second, European women third, Asian women last. I've said many times on this channel, you'll never see me marry an Asian woman. I don't give a damn how tight she is. I don't give a damn how fat her ass is. I don't give a damn how rich her family is. I don't give a damn how good she look in that dress. I don't give a damn about none of her demeanor. She would never be my wife. She can get smashed. She can get smashed 7 times. She'll never be my wife. And you got to realize in some other countries, people have their preferences and they have preferences of, hey, like I would sleep with this race, but no, they better not think I'm going to be with them long term. And for me, I'm like that with Asians. I'm just not attracted to Asians on that level, not on a long term level. Obviously, I have some sort of attraction because I wasn't on a monk mode whenever I was in Asia last year.
But would you call that racism?
It's not racism if it's my choice. I'm
just wondering, because you could say the same argument for then people here in Latin America or black people or whatever saying that they don't like black men, like Latinas. It's just a preference, and there's not a problem then.
Yeah, the
bullshit.
You know, mestizas might not. I've had mestizas that I've slept with that I think that they just wanted to try it. Like I said, this thing is my 4th time saying this today. They just wanted to try it. But
I understand the argument. I'm playing devil's advocate right now. It's like you can then.
That is just crazy. You know what I mean? I think you discrediting yourself, to be quite honest. Why would you? It has nothing to do with a fetish. If a girl likes you, she likes you. No matter the race, you know this. You've traveled enough.
I have girls I like enough to put my dick in. Bottom line, some of them I put my dick in only. It's not that hard to understand, man.
And a woman want to be a wife. There's a lot more women that want to be taken care of and be a wife than there is women that would take care of a guy. Facts. Bottom line.
That's not what we're talking about.
Mean anything. Like older. Matter of fact, but right before I went to Asia,
he dropped off. I didn't do that. I promise I didn't do that. But my point is, I have some women again that the limit is sexual attraction. She's not gonna meet my mother. I can guarantee. There's some women there's nothing she can do to go that far. I don't give a damn. She gave me $1 million. I'm just gonna take it, and she's still not gonna be my mother. So there's the same way how I have that preference is the same way how other people have that preference. Is some women women. There's some women that just they see us and they're like, okay, I could sleep with him, but he not about to marry me. So.
But you have to realize that you're saying that it's just because it's your preference, there shouldn't be a problem. In that case, women that don't want to date black men because they're black, well, there shouldn't be a problem then. And I'm not saying that I agree with this statement because I don't care about race. Maybe at one point I did, not anymore. I just like men. If you have a good character and if I like you, I happen to like you and you happen to be black, Asian, whatever, I don't mind. But just, I don't know if you're realizing this because you have a preference with Asian girls, the same way a black Latina here can have a preference with black men that they don't like them. So do you have a problem with that or not?
Yeah, I would agree. Frequent flyer says, yet when they say something about black men, you get triggered. Please tell me when the last time was you saw me get triggered by something somebody said. Number one, I don't think y'all understand that I really don't be giving a damn. So it's gonna be hard to trigger me. Official Kobe says, disagree with McGrady. White men have conquered the modern world. Black men are not loved everywhere. Get out of your ego. Be confident regardless.
I don't get what the hell that means, bro. I don't know what the fuck you talking about, bro. What are you talking about?
Well, I will say the first part, white men have conquered the world. What that means is
maybe conquered him.
Historical context, white men will always be perceived at a higher value because they took over the world. Like that's ingrained in people's mind as them to be in the like. You know, when we think about European, like Portuguese, Spanish, and English, like you're not gonna put them over. You're not gonna put the people from the Congo over them. Like that's just not how that works.
I mean, I understand the premise of what you're saying, but actually, Portugal is being bought by the former colony right now, and a lot of African continents countries just kicked out the French ambassadors. They kicked out the French military. Like I said, I was just in Asia myself. Firsthand experience. They told me they hate Europeans. They hate Russians. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know what. Like,
Listen,
like dudes want to be hated and want to have.
no,
I don't understand it, bro. That's
what
what
I'm. They kicked out the French. You're talking about places like Niger, right? They kicked out the French ambassador in the French military. Mm-hmm. Because they have allies like China and Russia. Without them Chinese folks and them Russian folks, they wouldn't be doing shit. Let's be honest.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Russia.
So then again, the French are still over them in a way because they had to have some backup in order to do that.
I don't want to get into the semantics of it. I mean, we can go down that rabbit hole. All I'm trying to say is I genuinely think that brothers like almost want to not be an option. Like the premise that we're not an option worldwide is BS. I'm not saying that white men are not a preference to a lot of women. I'm not saying that at all. But I think we're exaggerating it. I genuinely do. You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, value wins. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, it's anything to do with the prize. Excuse me. That's all I'm saying.
I get, man. Like, if you think about it surface level, like Anonymous said right here, black men don't run anything, and I think most people around the world know that. Like, where? Let me ask you a question, and it's just a hard reality. Where in the world do anybody put black men at the top of the totem pole?
It depends where you at, bro. Like, it depends.
Where? But where?
At the top of the totem pole?
Yeah, it's not Africa because Africa is still technically colonized.
100%, 100%. So at the top of the totem pole, what do you mean? Like for marriage? What do you mean? I don't think that
on all fronts. Where are black people at the top of the totem pole?
I mean, everyone knows that we're not at the top. You know what I mean? But that's completely different. Talking about marriage and attraction, that's completely different. Everyone knows that. A woman with married God that she, you know,
think that
stable with.
These and these European women really look at you and they're like, oh, like, yeah, this is my best option. Do you think they really think that?
I'm the wrong person to answer. Like I said, my experience is probably
because you said you've been traveling a lot and you done slept with a lot of them. If you got the right swag and walk, it'll work.
I just said, like I said, my experience is probably different than a lot of brothers that you're saying. So asking me is not going to fit the narrative that you're trying to paint right now, bro. Like I said, I don't disagree with what you're saying. The narrative. I don't disagree with what you're saying for a lot of brothers, but a lot of brothers don't fit that. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a God honest truth. Like, it's not trying to be funny, nothing that, bro. Like, all I'm trying to do is just say, like, I think mentally we have defeated ourselves with that. I'm not saying that white men are not the preference, you know, in a lot of places. But to just say that we just totally discount it is just bullshit. I think we underestimate how revolutionary the civil rights movement in America has been. There is no other race, like you said, and I agree with you. There is no other black diaspora in the world with political power, representation in entertainment, everywhere, like the black American diaspora. It just doesn't exist. Why? I work with models from Colombia, Argentina, you name it, Afro Latinas, and they'll tell you the bottom line. Bro.
That's in America. When you go to Brazil, that shit goes away.
I work with a model from Brazil. Like I said, like my experience has been different. Like I'm not discrediting what you're saying. That's what I'm trying to say. I just agreed. I just said that same representation doesn't exist. So what I'm saying is our experience is most likely different. Like I said, 100%. a poor Brazilian black man, no, he does not have the same reach or chances, maybe. 100%. Sexually, he can hit, a white Brazilian, and then that's that. He may luck up and get an old grandma from the UK and get a visa. We know this. Let's just be real. But overall, I do think that we have a lot more chances than diaspora from a lot of other places. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're asking about me specifically, like I said, I work in fashion, bro. My experience is going to be different. You know what I mean? So I may be speaking from a kind of standoffish kind of point of view. Other brothers, I genuinely feel like we discredit ourselves before we even try. That's all I'm trying to say.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Long way.
You can't be confident out of racial history. Yeah, Martin Luther King couldn't be confident enough. He still got assassinated. So anyway, you listen. Like again, I don't know, man, but this is yeah. Let me bring on the next caller because we're not really getting anywhere with this one, man. I appreciate you calling in. We gonna see if we got some more different perspectives really quick. Thanks, man. What's going on? How you say your name?
Cease. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry. All right. Much respect, Austin. Here's your birthday coming. Happy birthday, first and foremost. Glad to be on the chat.
Thank you.
So would you like me to just freestyle talk, or you want a question or what?
Well, what is your viewpoint on today's topic?
So I don't know if this is fortunately or unfortunately. I'm in the same perspective of the last brother. I've been to like 6 different cities in Colombia, been Thailand, Bali, Cuba, a whole bunch of different places. And one thing he was saying about Bogota has 10 million people. Most people don't have 10 million people in their own city. So it's hard to kind of understand that perspective, and that the areas he was talking about are richer areas. Well, those areas are going to favor white men. I mean, it is what it is. And just like the U.S. But perspective of dating out there, for the most part, when I go out there, I don't show I have much money. Yeah, they know I got money because I'm from America, but they don't really know. So I dress like them. I wear their clothes, and I say them, just Colombians. I'll wear the same thing that they got on, sweats or whatever, and walk around like that. I've dated, from both sides. The one you want to hook up with, and then the one you want to be with long term. But I will say, you got to have that perspective if you're looking for something long term when you get with a chick. And a lot of times, a lot of cats only be having a perspective of just hooking up, to be honest. They're not really going out there looking for a long-term relationship. And women feed off of that. So that's where you're going to get the same type of response, or they're going to shy away from you or not give you any game, any action, because you don't have that energy that you're trying to be with them long term. And you're young. You travel all the time. Now I watch you go to many different places. It doesn't feel like, to me, and maybe it's a different perspective, you're not looking for a wife. You're not really looking for that. So you're going to run into a lot of women that are short term that give you engagement. But I'm not looking for a wife either, but I ran into somebody who was looking for engagement. And I'm going to finish this up real quick. Before this person knew I had any money, would shoot out with me, met her on Tinder. Like, everybody's like, oh, don't do Tinder, this, that, and the other. You got to have some type of game when you go to these companies. You can't just go willy-nilly. If you got game already, then you're going to be able to weed out all of the BS. But let the chick say, we ain't having sex. Cool. I'm just dating you. I'm just trying to get to know you, this, that, and the other. Got to know her over the first year. She hit me up, not knowing how much money I got, where I'm from, this, that, and the other, and said, well, she know I'm from California, but she said, yo, what does it take for you to retire? I'm like, what you mean? She's like, how much money is it going to take you? I said, I don't really know yet. She's like, well, look, I got this amount. This is the amount it's going to take me to retire. I got my own house, this, that, and the other. If you want, why don't you come stay with me and we can retire together? Until she said that is when I start revealing I got cash, I got loot, I got real estate. But that's after a year. So it depends on, what you're engaged with and what you're trying to do with a person as to what they're going to give you back. And a lot of women that's really down with having a relationship ain't gonna fool with you because they know you there for short term and what you're looking for. All right.
Uh, so Marty W. funny. Yeah. So and the point I'm making is not if I'm looking for a wife or not. I'm just saying I just noticed more often that I see the black women I meet they're more prone to trying to have the behaviors of a woman that wants a relationship. Uh, it just so happened the white folks not like that. Now, on the other hand, what is it? What do you act like when you want a wife? Is what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, you're not trying to hit on the first date, that's for sure. You're taking them to spots where you're actually just having a date and getting to know them without, trying to look for something else or trying to get them drunk or something like that. The questions that you ask somebody, you're asking them about their family, you're asking them about their history, where are they from, how did they grow up, what schools and things that they went to, what their education's like, what's their job like. That shows engagement that you're trying to get to know their background versus just, where you at, what you like to do, let's go to the movies. Uh, that type of engagement. You got to have some type of game to get at that
Let
type
me
of person.
let me ask you a question, man. When did I tell you what I say on my dates?
Didn't you ask me what it is it like to get at those people? What I'm saying is I've been watching you, since you basically started. I haven't seen you really be like, I'm looking for a girlfriend. I'm looking for somebody that I can settle down with. I just haven't seen it, but maybe you are.
Yeah. So when have I told you that I don't ask these chicks? Because I know how many brothers and sisters and what their parents do. Like I've told plenty of stories about. Did you not hear the story when I said I was gonna take the chick out of her job so she could come stay with me?
I heard that story.
So why would you say that?
I'm not saying you in particular, Austin. I'm talking about individuals that travel there.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm not
Uh,
attacking you at all.
let me read a couple of these, and then we're gonna let the caller go. We can stay on, but we're gonna let the caller Hema go. She said, "Fathers, for black women choosing not to date black men is not a preference; it's self-hatred. Women in general are not race loyal." Okay. I guess we can touch on that later. Pajama Llama said $5 for classism and racism in Latin America go hand in hand, where the wealth is associated with one's American nationality serves as a proxy for whiteness. I could agree.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah. I mean, I've had times where I like in Paraguay, where and I've even complained about when I was in Kenya, like I can't get some chicks to stay around. So it's not always that, man. It's not that. But I don't know how that relates to the white folks. Uh, Gina, Gina, you have to head out now, don't you?
Yes, I do. But this was really fun. So thank you for inviting me.
All right, thank you for
Yeah,
coming through. I appreciate it.
yeah. Appreciate it as well.
Thank you. You have a good
Bye
one.
bye. You too. Bye bye.
Bye. So let's finish on this topic really quick. So
Ah, damn it, Austin! I wanted to grill her. I was about to get in her ass, man. You my boy, man. So, but man, I was about to get in her ass. Why'd you let her go? I was about to grill her motherfucking ass. They called me the auditor because I would have really asked her the tough questions. But you just let her go. God damn it. My bad, bro. Go ahead.
so what is the let's see. So so we have to, if we want a wife, we have to ask different questions, which I know that. I mean, I don't know. What do you think my dates go like?
You asking me or you are?
I'm asking sis,
She's, um, I mean, you're engaged with them. I see you go to restaurants, go to to different clubs and stuff. But it's, some of the stuff you don't show us, like everything on the camera, you can't. That's for sure. But say, for example, the person that I was telling you about, what became more serious is I came out there around Christmas. They were going to their family's house in Kieria, which is by Armenia, coffee region. So they invited me over to their family's house. I went over to the family, met the mother, the grandmother, the uncle, and chilled with the whole family. And hablo español only un poquito. Hablo español. I only speak it just a little bit. But it was still a cool thing. When people are engaging and investing and showing you that side, that's when they're really into you. You know what I'm saying? And believe me, it's not perfect like every time you hit. I had to sift through a lot of different people before I ran into her and really haven't met anyone like her. But I'm just saying there are people out there uh, that are serious.
I would agree. Well, I'm not saying that there's nobody that's not serious. We just talking about the probability of a black man getting with a mestiza is not as high. Or no, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about. It depends. We're talking about Afro Latinas, but to say what I was saying, I think it's just you have a higher chance of getting with an Afro Latina than a mestiza in a real relationship.
That's pretty much true. My boy in July is getting married in Medellin to Afro Latina. So I think you're true in that aspect, but that's everywhere around the world. Uh, I don't know a place where people don't like their kind. It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying too is in Buenos Aires and Montevideo, you're not as likely to get with the black women there. It seems like it's like a whitewash thing that's happened there. Like what she was describing earlier. She was saying how they were bullying her for her hair and her skin tone because she was in an area where it wasn't a lot of black people anyway. So the chances of her growing up being like, "Oh, I want a black man," whenever she's been pretty much told her whole life that it wasn't good, versus if you're in Cali, Colombia, maybe they do teach them that, but it's hard to teach people that when they're surrounded by it.
There's some
Hello,
women like that in the U.S. too, though. Oh,
Yeah,
go ahead, brother.
hello. Yeah, can you hear me, Austin?
yeah.
Hey, Seth, if you can mute yourself, brother, you're a little bit loud wind noise in the background. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, OG. So yeah, Austin, that's what I'm trying to say, brother. Like she's self-hating. I was gonna ask her the questions of, oh, okay, so what made you become a feminist? What made you become a self-hating woman? That's what I would have asked her, and she probably would have been stuck looking stupid because see, this is the difference right now. Okay, you could tell. Okay, in order to have progress for something, you must say admit there's a problem and come up with a solution. She was just saying problems against black folks because she was self-hating. She came up with no solutions at all. So that's slick hating. She was straight up slick hating. Her and another cat who came on. And is what she's saying true? Yes and no. Whatever country you go to, there will always be pockets of women who like black men. And that's due to media, rap, hip hop, basketball, having a cool swagger, etc. And there will be other people who do not want black men. That is true as well. But what I don't like from that guest, and this would have been really good entertainment here. What I don't like from the guest is for her to be slick hating and tell it from one side. Yeah, I'm not surprised that she grew up in an environment where she got told that her hair is ugly and she hates dating black men. She said it herself. She does not identify as black, but yet she does not know the difference between racial and ethnicity. She is black. Her race is black. She's a Negroid. Okay, but she doesn't know that because she probably doesn't know the difference between ethnicity and race. So I'm sorry, I'm a little passionate right now, but man, I would have gotten her ass, man. I would have broke it down because Austin, what I don't like is when people who come onto your panel or any show They want to blame, and say what's wrong with us, but they don't want to come up with a solution, dog. That's what makes me mad. And there was another cat who came on the panel named Daniel. I wanted him to cam up because I wanted to see, okay, are you black talking like that? Because see, he was throwing digs and shit, throwing stuff like, oh yeah, because black guys, we don't get no plays because we American, we got money. See, stuff like that makes me mad too because it's like we know what you're doing, you playing both sides, and you're not slick, man. I'm sorry, bro. I'm getting a little passionate, y'all, but that's it, man.
So Tate Douglas said you can't swag your way out of racism. How do you feel about that?
You cannot swag. Who did I say that you have to swag your way into racism? I never said that. Racism exists. Absolutely. The Caucasian man does have power in the world right now. But see, his power is coming to an end because the Asian man in China is coming for his spot, coming for his spot. You know what I'm saying? So his power is waning. So yeah, does he have power right now? He does, but his power is coming to an end, brother.
My brother, why do we care so much about if a person has an appearance, a certain impression, and was raised a certain way? Why don't we just let them be? Let them go on. If that's her perspective, this, that, and the other, she got a right to it. God bless you. You know, if we're trying to solve her issue or explain to her something like that, that takes a lot of time and energy when she's just not the right person for you. So I just keep it moving.
That's the mindset I took when I was in Peru, when I realized that all the Afro Latinas I would try to talk to, that they would just kind of blow me off. I said, okay, well, we'll just deal with it. Like the Colombian chick I was dealing with was mestiza, and all the other chicks I was dealing with were mestizas too. So yeah, I just, but this is just content. It's just a conversation. I like to start a conversation on YouTube. So we had to bring this up because a lot of dudes do think that they just have every access to every woman in Latin America. That may feel true, but it's not always true.
Yeah, but Austin, here's the thing though, but I agree with you. Like, let's stop caring what they think about, like, if somebody has a certain preference. But don't you think that, like, okay, if you're gonna call out all problems, come up with a solution. It's like saying, oh, your house is dirty, but then you don't want to call me out on it, and you just want to, like, I'm gonna leave my house all fucking dirty. Like, nah, like, my house is dirty, I'm gonna clean it up.
I would agree.
Hey,
Well,
Austin, God bless you in all your travels, man. You have a beautiful family. We were able to witness that over the past few weeks or whatever. God bless
thank
you. I got to run back to work, but I appreciate you.
you. God bless you as well.
All right.
Let's go to Daniel. So Daniel and Smooth Life can have a little interaction real quick.
Oh, I've been waiting to catch your slippery ass the whole time. I've been
All right,
waiting to catch you,
bro.
dog.
What's your question? What's your answer?
First of all, can you cam up?
I'm not gonna come out.
Oh, of
I'm
course you're
trying
not
to
gonna cam up. I'm not surprised. You're not gonna cam up. I'm not surprised.
okay,
First of
what's
all,
up? But what's
I don't,
okay?
I
Go on.
don't, I don't, I don't listen. I don't know if you're black or you're not, but you're
I'm
damned if you
black.
do, you're damned if you don't.
I'm black.
If you are black, talking like that, self-hating, that's not a good look, bro.
I'm not
Like,
hating. When
yeah,
am I
no,
self
no,
hating?
no, yes, you. Because I'm gonna tell you my experience, right? When I went down to Latin America,
Do you
when I went
speak
to Brazil,
Spanish
when I went
first
to
of all?
DR.
Do you
No, I do
speak
not. No,
Spanish?
I do not speak. No, I do not
Do you
speak
understand?
Spanish. But no, hold on,
Okay.
brother, hold on. I do not speak Spanish, but I do have a Spanish. I have a Afro Latino mother. And I've been to the DR 3 times, and I've been to Brazil once. So I have a little bit of right to say something too. So I got a perspective. So don't hit me with this shit that because I don't speak full Spanish, I have no idea what I'm talking about because I
We're
do.
not trying to like hate on each other, but
Okay,
say your opinion.
okay. I'm saying my opinion right now. So first of all, there's nothing wrong with calling out something that is true. I agree with that. But offer a solution. Don't slick hate. See, because you're the type of so-called black man that you hate yourself, and you hate yourself so much, you try to put that same self-hatred into other people. And that's not cool,
Bro,
dog. That's not
how are
cool.
you saying? The thing is, I don't see a solution in Colombia. If DR is different. DR, there's a lot of black people, so you're able to get a lot more love without showing off your money, etc. Like I lived in Latin America for over 10 years, poor and rich. So that's my opinion. I know the culture. I speak full Spanish. I have 20 employees in Colombia. I work with these people. I live with these people. So I'm just telling you what they think about themselves, how they treat us. But solution wise, I wish the solution, but the only way is to become the majority. And I think they're going to become the majority in Colombia and Venezuela.
Okay, so but you didn't just mention Colombia, dog. You said other places that black men should go to places where they're okay, like Africa. I heard what you said.
Yeah, I said that like
So what's what?
DR, like Africa,
Yeah,
certain places,
so mostly Afro
It
countries, which is
sounds
good. I
better.
mean, nothing wrong with going to Afro countries.
Sounds
Nothing wrong with
better.
going to Africa.
Like, there's no reason to like fight, you know, the problems that we face here in Colombia and Venezuela. Like that, there's other places we can have better success. Like Austin is saying, that other
Well,
YouTubers don't.
listen, the Caucasian man is not the majority, and yet he has the most power. So just because you have power does not equate to you automatically having you have to have the majority, right? That's I mean that's one way to look at it, but power is other ways that you can come up with.
But
So,
what are we talking
but
about? Are we talking about success with women? Do they like us? That's what we're talking about, right?
this is what I'm saying, right? That I went to Brazil and I was going on dates with Afro Latino chicks, and I had a couple Afro Latino chicks that I would have took serious. See, I'm Austin's age, right? So I understand where he's coming from, but as far as the perspective of like me getting taken serious, like no, I was getting taken serious by those Afro Latino chicks. Like I had one that's I mean still hits me up to this day sometimes.
The
So
point
like
is the point is that
this is
we're not their first choice. That's what we're trying to get.
I agree with that. But come up with a solution to stop slick hating. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't
Well,
be like, oh, woe is me because I'm black.
I
That's a
would love
victim
to know a
mindset.
solution. I would love to know a solution, but I don't see one. Like
So
again,
a
I don't
solution
see a
to our
solution.
dating problems? A solution to our dating problems?
No, I say in Latin America, in Colombia, probably even in Brazil. I don't think in Brazil like we're the first choice. That's the point. It's like, would you want to
Well,
fight
listen,
that?
we're
Why
not the
isn't it
first.
just better?
Listen,
Isn't it just better to go a place where we're the first choice? Like, why do we have to
I
fight that? Like,
I so I agree it's better to go to a place where you're first choice, but some solutions that you can come up with, like for example, is having proper representation throughout media. So like the way the
bro, you know how
commercials are
difficult that
formed
is.
and
You know how
and no,
difficult.
it is
You know
difficult.
how
Hey, listen, dog. I never said it was easy. I never said it was easy. I'm just giving you a solution. That's all I'm trying to
But
say.
that's not our problem to fix either, and it's not going to be fixable. Like we can't go to politicians. We're going to be protesting out in Colombia and Brazil. Like we need more black representation. Like it's ridiculous to think that we can change that. It's just easier, and we have
Proper.
passports. We can go to places where, like, I think DR is a good place for black men to have a lot of success. But
Who? DR?
I think, yeah, I think the DR. I've been there. I had a good experience out there.
But the
It was
problem with the
easy.
DR,
Connect with women.
the
What's your
DR, those
opinion on the
women,
DR?
the DR, man, those chicks just want men for their wallet, man. I mean, you never want to lead with the wallet. I mean, you leading with the wallet is gonna be a problem, man. That's the worst
What's
form of
your
attraction
opinion?
you can lead with.
Where do you think we're the first choice for
Well,
women?
like I said, I don't think that we're the first, other than going to like majority Afro, so-called Afro nations. I don't think we're the first choice. The only places that but we don't have to be the first choice to still be a good choice. Like Brazil's a
Yeah,
great choice.
but
Brazil's a great choice. Go ahead.
you would always want to put yourself in the best situation. Like why again, if you have the money and you have the access to travel, if you want to be in the place where you're the first choice.
Listen, this is life, right? You're never gonna be first in everything you do, right? You can strive to be, that's great, but you can still, like for example, Brazil is a great place to be. Colombia was a great place to be, other than until it got over gringofied and shit like that. In Latin America, the
No, I don't
DR,
think
even
Colombia.
though,
I don't think
uh,
Colombia was ever a good choice. I don't think Colombia was ever a good choice. Like it
well,
was never. We
in
were never
certain
the first
spots.
choice. Maybe Cali, you could say, but that's not really a good place to live. It's not safe. It's really dangerous. It's not really
Yeah,
a
not
great place.
anymore. But this is
It
what I'm
was
trying to
never.
say, bro.
I lived in Cali like 10 years ago. It was never safe. Like it's nothing.
This is what I'm trying to say, man. So-called black people are already suffering from a lot of traumas that we have from our past, right? Don't just sit there and complain and play victim because I don't do well with victims because I don't think like that. So you know what? This is our problems. This is how we fix it. Because I'm a
But
solution-based thinker.
there's no
And you
solution.
just
Like
came on.
we're not gonna fix that problem with Colombia and
So,
Venezuela.
by
Then
you
why?
saying, "Oh, I'm black. I'm black, and We're not liked here. We're not like there. We're not here. Nigga, I don't give a fuck who don't like me. I'm a conqueror because I think like that. I don't care.
Okay,
I'm a king,
if
dog.
you want,
You
if
think
you
a
want
king?
to,
You think a king?
Like,
bro, if you want to,
wait, one second. Let me read these super chats and then I want to address Smooth Life real quick. Seth Level said, yo, thanks for the time. Happy birthday again. Thank you for the $25 super chat. And thank you for the happy birthday. Generation Brand X sent $10 for like it or not. There are certain blackish women with a bad wench mentality, like Candace Owens. Sidestep the illness, find your own fortune in paradise across the planet because it's out there. I would agree. Now, you are saying that you are gonna conquer regardless, right?
If I choose to go to a country, I'm gonna conquer it.
Now,
that's bullshit, bro.
yeah,
Like, so you're gonna fight the police and all that other shit. Right?
because you have to come. I'm telling you from experience, man. When I was in Salvador Bahia, like I couldn't lose. Then I go to Buenos Aires and I can lose very easily over there, you know. And it just so happens that they have a racist history. And then you go to Montevideo and I was winning there too, but it wasn't like Salvador Bahia. It wasn't like Rio. It wasn't like Africa. You know, it wasn't even in Colombia. You know, I'm in Cartagena. I'm doing better than I was in Medellin. I'm in Cali. I was doing a lot better than I was in Medellin. Medellin just so happens to not be the black city. You know, it just happens that way. You can try to conquer, but like old boy said earlier, you can't swag your way out of racism.
Nah. But like, what I'm trying to say is like, how do I put this right?
He said
Like,
you can't
like I
swag
said,
your way.
if I'm going to choose to go somewhere, I'm going somewhere where the options are going to be in abundance for me, right? Why would I choose? Like I said, if I choose to go to a place, I'm gonna conquer it. Like I'm not gonna go to fucking. Why would I go to Buenos Aires, Argentina, knowing that it has a racist history? Then my dating options are gonna be less.
So
Like,
then, what are
yeah,
you
obvious.
arguing with me about when I'm
My
trying to
argument
say?
for I say it for the 17th time, my brother. You are coming up with complaints, but you're coming up with no solutions. That's the problem.
Bro, you're agreeing
Complaining.
to what I'm
No,
saying.
no.
You're agreeing to what I'm saying. You're trying to say
I
that
said
you're
that.
only.
Daniel, listen. Were you listening the whole time, or do I like? I said that. You want me to say it for you in Chinese or something? I said it,
Bro,
bro.
like,
But I
man,
said don't
it's a waste
don't be coming
argument.
with complaints and self hating on yourself. That's all I'm
Bro,
trying to
I'm
say.
self hating,
Call
but
if,
whatever. You can keep.
you're right. There is some like white worshiping going on. Like I'm not gonna deny that, but at least don't be slick
All
hating
I'm
all the time.
saying is you have better odds in other places. That's all I'm saying. In Colombia, I've done very well. Like, so I have no problems out here. But there's other places where I can deal with less bullshit, and that's it. I'd rather be in a place where you could deal with less bullshit.
And I would love it for you to cam up, man. I just would love it.
Like, let me tell you something too, Smooth Life. Here in Paraguay, there's no black people, but in this city I'm at right now, it borders Brazil, and even the black chicks that I did meet, the interaction was completely different than the mestizas. Like completely. Like I've had interested mestizas, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like she likes me." But when I run into the black chicks from Brazil that do like me, it's like, no, like she really likes me. Like you can't even miss it. So
Exactly. That's the only
That's what I'm
key
talking
there,
point.
about.
there is a difference. Marty asked you, Smooth Life, how many foreign women actually want you to marry them?
Well, here's the thing, man. Like, I think that all foreign women would prefer their own man, regardless of race. Like, it's just they prefer men who are in their country. So I don't think that's a racial thing. I think that's just a thing across all boards. Like, sure, they prefer to get that 6'2", tall, handsome cat that makes a lot of money in their own language in their own country, right? I don't, but you do have like an American advantage. So like you do have like an exotic factor. So like if you were to go to like let's say like Brazil or any place that's not well majority of places that are not American, you can kind of like play up on that, right? Oh, it's an American, it's American. You can kind of play up onto that. But I also just know that that won't be like your whole saving card, right? Like just because you're an American, if you're a fat slob, and you're not gonna be able to pull like that, regardless if you're American or you have a race factor. Like for example, like Asians, right? Like Asian, and I'm shout out to my Asian cats out here, but Asian men, they can struggle a lot going outside because they may not be the ideal type for a lot of women. They're not. A lot of them aren't very tall. They're not really physically appealing. Not all of them. But so your race could actually work against you, and there are races who struggle. All races have advantages and disadvantages. Like for black men, we got an advantage where okay, like we're physically tall, built. We can lay that pipe like a plumber, and women like that, and they like that. But the thing about it is, we don't get really. And Austin's right on this, right? They wouldn't really see us as something to really take serious a lot. They'll see a Caucasian man and be like, okay, like, he's gonna be able to save me. He can bust out his wallet, and I know that he's gonna not be cheap with it, and I know he's gonna be able to save me, right? So there's positives in it and there's negatives in it, and it's a lot of nuance in this situation here.
Let me bring up a point too that Marty's bringing up some good points, and we're gonna get to the other super chat. He said that's called a fetish. I'm talking about them fucking with you for real. This is something too. If you got hospitalized tomorrow, would any of them foreign chicks come to see you? That's what I'm talking about. I know exactly what he's talking about. And in Latin America, I don't feel like a lot of these chicks that I've met would be, oh my God, like you got hit by a car, Austin, where are you at? What hospital are you at? I don't think that.
Another thing is like they don't.
I did feel like that. When I was in Africa, I do think I would have had a good number of chicks that would have showed up. I do think in Cali, Colombia, I would have had a good amount of chicks that would have showed up. In America, they would have just flaked. But in Cali, Colombia, they would show up. In Brazil too. In Brazil too, yes.
Kenya,
yeah. But they probably wouldn't have been Kenyan. But yes, a couple. No, I take that back. A couple.
So you're Kenyan black women.
I had a good friend group in Kenya, man. They fucked with me. I know they did. I know they did.
But we all say that, right? Listen, these women are not going to show up for you unless you are their best option. Because I think
I'm their only friend. I am the best option.
You know what I'm saying? Like these are women, like show up for your ass in the hospital. Nah, she be waiting for collect that check after you pass away.
She ain't getting shit out of me.
She will wait for your pension to kick in or whatever. You got your inheritance or whatever.
I feel like I feel like there's a lot of women in Kenya that would have showed up.
But that's a good question though. Go ahead.
And you motherfuckers in this chat don't even know what y'all talking about. Because they like, oh, if y'all ain't dating, we ain't showing up. When did I say we weren't dating? I had chicks on the regular. I was seen on the regular in Kenya. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. I'm saying, obviously, a chick that I met and hooked up with her one time, I don't expect her to be at the damn hospital bed. Of course, I'm not stupid. But I'm talking about chicks that I was dealing with on a regular, yes. Now, in Latin America, there are some chicks that I feel like I was dealing with on a regular that would they show up? I don't think so.
You gotta have in Colombia. You gotta have a good connection with the women. You gotta truly understand them, and they'll care about you. But if you just on a vacation, it's different.
Marty, if I'm too young and inexperienced, is Austin too young and inexperienced, or are you automatically equating because you're young, you must be inexperienced?
He said they wouldn't even answer the phone for you.
Yeah, he said they wouldn't even answer the phone, nigga. They say for me. You added that part in there.
We gotta let me see. The black man is not the first choice in Africa. Why are we even going there? The white man is the first choice there. Daniel is a clown. Malcolm says, let me resolve this topic with one sentence. High value men are every woman's first choice, regardless of race. Get your money up. And get your money up, gentlemen. Happy birthday, Austin. Thank you very much for the happy birthday. To
high value, man.
But again, my point is,
race. Like if
you go to, hold on one second, Dave. If you go to Germany and you got a white guy worth 50 million and you're worth 50 million and y'all got the equivalence of everything.
Yeah, she's going for the white guy.
Same weight. If she had to pick, she gonna go with what she's more familiar with.
Exactly.
Same way how I just said if I had to pick between an Asian chick the same personality as a black woman, the same height, the same weight, I would still go with the black chick because that's what I'm more familiar with.
Exactly. So we're on the same page. So I don't know why these others hating on me, but all right.
But here's the thing that what's that chick's name that was on Hema, the Latin chick.
Yeah.
Austin, what was her name? Hema. If you
Yeah,
Emma, if you let her tell it, she'll just make it seem like I don't know. She just
bro, like
you
she's
could
talking
just
the
tell
truth.
it's
She's the
the
first one,
energy.
bro. She was the first Latina that I've heard admit the real of how she feels, like Afro Latina. Unfortunately, that's how they feel because that's how society makes them feel. So for her to express herself the way she did, I don't see anything wrong with it. At least she fucking told the truth.
I mean,
And
and
let me
that's her experience. I'm not
That's the
dissing that.
reality. Like, bro, I
Don't
talked to
know. So
hundreds, hundreds of Afro Latinas,
what's the reality,
hundreds
bro?
of hundreds
What's
of Afro
what's the
Latinas.
reality? I'm asking you a
They
question.
don't see
What's
them.
the
They
reality?
don't see themselves as black. They don't want to be black because being black in Latin America is not a good thing. Like it's low value, unfortunately. But if you
Okay,
can get
well,
money, that's the opinion in Latin America. It's different in America, in the United States. That's how they feel, and she expressed it, which a lot of women, Afro Latinas, are shy and scared to talk about. But she actually said it. So I don't know why y'all are hating on it. And she's actually trying to change it, and she understands what's going on, which a lot of them don't understand why they feel that way.
I
so
would agree.
what I was saying, Daniel, I was arguing more for the standpoint where she made it seem like, well, first that she's like a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? You can obviously tell she's Americanized and she's feminist. That's number one. And number two, I was more arguing from the standpoint like she made it seem like black men are not desirable at all. Like that's the energy that I got from that, like
They're
from
the
the way
first
she was
choice.
answering the question.
That's what she's trying to say. Like they're not the first choice, and
I'm
that's the
saying,
reality.
I'm saying at all. That's the energy that me and some viewers got. It wasn't like oh she was like saying like for example like when I say black people have certain issues that we got to fix. I'm like I said I'm calling out the problem and I'm saying okay how do we fix it right? But
Yeah, the
it's
solution
different
is
when like
getting more friends, TV, sports, etc. in America, but that's something we're not be able to fix, fortunately. But like in the DR, if you go to Cuba and stuff like that, they have better representation. So you see better, more mixing, and they're more proud of their skin color. But unfortunately, in Colombia, Venezuela, some parts of Brazil, is they don't get that representation, and to get that representation is extremely difficult.
but so would you agree with the notion that black men are undesired by Afro Latinas? Then is that what you agree with? Because
They're
that's the
not
way
the
she made
first
it seem.
choice. They're not the first
No.
choice.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that, bro. I said undesirable.
I wouldn't say undesirable. I would just
That's
say
my
they're not
point.
the first choice.
That's my point. That's my point. That's all I'm arguing about. I wasn't like but I'm not arguing with the fact that yes, there is like a white worshiping culture in in South America. It's true, bro. I mean it is what it is. It's a white worshiping culture everywhere. You know, that's why people have
I don't think it's everywhere. I don't think it's
that's why
everywhere.
our
I
women
don't think
buy
I don't think in the
oh bro,
DR,
it's in
if
a
you
lot of
wish,
places, bro. It's
if
in a
you
lot of
in a
places,
lot of
bro.
places, I agree. But what we're trying to talk, what we should be talking about is where can we be a high value, good looking black man and be the first choice? And I think the DR, some places in Africa, some places in Brazil, that's what we should be talking about. And that's where we should be focusing our energy on, not trying to change societies in other places.
Well,
Yeah.
you guys, I think we've had a good debate. We're at 2 hour. I guess we could go another 15 minutes, but I might go. I'm about to go outside here in a minute after this, and I might go live at a place, a rooftop or something if there's something going on. And I might drink, I might not. It depends on how stupid I want to feel today. Because I've been very smart all week, and I drank 2 drinks yesterday, and I felt like a complete idiot. So let me bring up K Polymath real quick, Daniel, and swap him out. What's going on?
Nah,
Yeah,
it's
was
all
good,
right.
Austin.
How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
Somebody Okay, so he fell off.
He's a battery
Let's
man.
add Patrick in.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Austin, how are you doing?
Good, and you?
Not too bad. Hey, so I was listening to your conversation and about your experience in Latin America. I see where you're coming from, you know, feeling like at some point your connection to the mestizos isn't really that, you know, close, or there's something not quite there. But here's the thing, though, owing to what the other young gentleman said earlier on about not really caring too much about stuff, and I'm sure you really don't care about stuff. But like as black men, when we travel or when you travel, I don't think you should put too much pressure about racism and stuff. I mean, unless it directly affects you, you should be aware of your surroundings. You should be aware of the situation in the world, but you shouldn't really put that pressure on you. If you go to these countries and you have a good, if you're there for a good time, in your mindset, it should be, hey, I'm here for a good time. Now, there are instances where you can see a chick who's mestiza and you really like her, and it happens. You can meet a girl, you really like her, you first want to, do the sticky licky, and then later on, you find out, oh, I kind of like this chick. I would like her to hang around a little bit. She might just pack up and leave. A number of factors could be the cause. Maybe one, she is, their culture, they're kind of free like that. So she might just say, oh, I kind of enjoy this guy, with that, but I don't know if I really feel like I'm going to be able to stick around with him. I don't know if he takes me serious. I don't know. You never know what's going on with them and then their culture too. So if she gets to come with you and you guys get into a little intimate, she might just feel like, okay, I'm not really trying to stick around. I'll just go. If he really wants me, he'll call me. That type of time. That type of time. Maybe if you persist and express to her in a certain way that you kind of like her a certain way, then maybe she'll stick around later on. Whereas with black ladies, instinctively we're all black. So I don't care where in the world you go, you'll gravitate to a black lady in a certain way. There's a certain aura, certain essence that both of you will emit to each other that can be described by any other person or any other race. Because you're alike. Even if she has some Indian or indigenous in her. So if you have her, you get in a company with her or something like that, she will obviously feel more comfortable and want to stick around because you're like the same, even though your cultures are not the same. But she feels more comfortable because she resonates with you in a certain sense because you're both black. That's the thing. But as far as the other things are concerned with how, people are too concerned with traveling here and there and worried about this, guys, don't worry about all that stuff. Just travel, live your life, relax, and, you know, unless you're confronted with it directly, I don't pay it no mind. But I will say this, if you're an expat living somewhere, people can kind of, women will kind of feed off of that and they will kind of, that this guy's here for a long time and stuff like that. So that's just my 2 cents to the whole thing, you know. So that's pretty much what I have to say about that.
I would agree. He said
Patrick.
indigenous isn't black. He said indigenous isn't black, but I get the point. I don't believe in either.
It's
Well, when I
funny because
say
Marty always got something. I mean, I like the brother. I'm just saying, it's
when
funny.
I,
You
when,
always
when,
got something to come back with something.
when I say indigenous, I don't mean indigenous necessarily. I mean the mixture. So she could have a Indian or indigenous Amerindian relative, and one of her ancestors could be black. So she has that kind of mix. So she could be black from Africa as far as the slavery period, or she could be mixed with some Indian indigenous ethnic group that was local to that part of the Americas, the Latin Americas.
but
So that's what
but
I
from
mean when I say that.
but from my understanding, indigenous can be so-called black. I mean, like for
Yes, it can
example,
be.
like the Indians. So when you say indigenous isn't black, I mean you can't blanket that term.
Well, you have a point. Yeah, you do have a point. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'll accept that. It's not something I'm
Oh no,
trying
no,
to
I'm
let you
not you,
do.
Patrick. I was talking to Marty. I was responding to Marty's. You're good, bro. I
Oh,
was just responding to Marty's. Where are you from, Patrick?
I'm originally from West Africa, Liberia, to be precise, and I moved to the States over almost 16 years ago. So I am not an FBA. I'm pretty informed. I haven't traveled that much around the world, but I've well read and I know a lot about other places. So, you know, this is just my opinion. I follow Austin. I think he's a very sharp young man. You know, he creates real good content, and I just wanted to chip in with my 2 cents here. You know, pretty much it.
Thank you. I
Hey,
appreciate
Austin,
it. I agree. Huh?
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Um, so like you're saying, like you're having a hard time for, and if correct me if I'm wrong, right? But what you're saying is you're saying you're having a hard time for these chicks to take you serious, and all they want to do is smash.
Yeah, which is fine for right now, but I'm just observing.
Mm. And even with like the Afro Latinas, this is the same thing.
No, it's not.
Oh,
Even
there you
whenever
go. Did you pick
yeah,
that time?
so I need to be a little more specific because even when I'm in Africa, like I had chicks that I couldn't get to leave sometimes. You know, they would stick around with no problem, but Paraguay, Uruguay, uh, and I wouldn't even say Bolivia. Paraguay, Uruguay, and let's just say those three. And yeah,
Yeah.
they're not sticking around.
Wait. You mean so the white ones aren't and the Latinas aren't sticking around, but the Afros are?
No, they're not sticking around. No.
Oh, none of them are all sticking around.
Yeah, the white ones aren't, but the black girls and the indigenous ones, they are.
Why'd you be happy with that? I mean, do you like white women or something?
No, white girls are the third choice, but I'm just saying, like I'm just, you know, I just be observing shit and saying it. Like maybe if I went back to Africa, I would have chicks that I wouldn't be saying that. Because when I really wasn't, I had some chicks when I was in Kenya and Tanzania, like I felt like I could have dated. I just didn't want to. But then I come out here and I'm like, shit, I really can't. Even if I want a girlfriend, that shit seems like I'm asking for too much.
And you know something that might be controversial. I'm gonna ask your opinion on this, right? And even though I used it earlier, I mentioned them as well, so it might sound like a hypocrite, but um, I think that so-called black people, they give the so-called Caucasian man too much credit for things. They always mention them in live streams, everything, right? We are obsessed with Caucasian people. And when you go on their panels, they don't even mention us. They just talk about other things, right? On travel channels and stuff. And I'm like thinking to myself, why do we have this this race of person on our minds so damn much
Hey,
that
Austin.
we can't
Uh,
get them off? Like whenever
Austin.
we have a problem, it's like, oh well, white people, we always bring up white daddy, and I'm thinking to myself like, like why is that? And does anybody else notice that? Do y'all agree? But that's what I noticed. Like, it's crazy.
I mean, I don't know, man. I haven't really thought about it, but let me hold on one second. Let me get back to it. Whatever sent $10 for happy birthday. Always remember, black has always been whack around the world for us. Pump D and enjoy the ride. When you get old, try to figure it out based on your experience. Thank you for the super chat. Yes, it's exactly what we're doing right now. Now it's good. You know, it's good around the world. It's good. We're like, you know, we're desired highly for sex. You know, no problems with that. No problems with that. But we're just talking about, you know, eventually one day you're gonna want something serious, or at least a little more serious than just sex. And I think what Smooth Life was saying earlier, he said he's gonna conquer. But whatever y'all be saying, like, oh, I'm gonna conquer, or I'm gonna win, or I'm doing well, that just means you're fucking.
I guess it is what it is. It is what it
That's
is,
all
man.
that means.
It is what it
So
is. I'm a King Kong bang my chest, I guess.
Ted sent $10 for I hate these so-called pro-blacks that call in. Yes, I guess, but yeah. No, Brandon, that's the worst analogy you could have ever picked. He says when you go to a real university, you'll notice you're in a school with multiple different cultures and everyone is there for class, no matter the race, majority of the time. Well, last I checked, when I was signing up for college, there was no, let me go to a white only school. Let me go to a black only. I mean, we have black, but when you're dating, you can do that. You can say, I only want a black chick. Or I only want to I mean, it's not I don't think that was a good analogy, man. Crypto Bro sent the color purple. Okay, the color purpura is the color purple. They rebooted the movie in Colombia and South America as propaganda against black male image. Really? Recently translated and advertised in Spanish against us. Well, there you have it.
Hey, Austin, can I respond to one comment? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Just Dredd said, and then another guy, Ralph something said, what did he? He said, I'm not obsessed with Caucasian men or anything like that. Oh no, I'm not. I'm never jealous of coward. Um, I don't want to say that, but Caucasian men, right? You're not jealous of them, right? But then why is it that you always bring them up in every conversation? Whenever I have a debate about our plight, right? Whenever I have a debate about okay, what we're going through, the Caucasian man always gets brought into it. It's never okay, like let's try to fix our problems and correct our condition together and see what we can work towards and have a solution for something. It's always going back to him. And we got to get outside that mindset, bro. 'Cause, like ask like I can't be though. I mean, Austin did it. I tried to throw you under the bus, but when we bring up race, we're always bringing up black and whites. It's that's we never say anything else. And I'm not trying to like. Go ahead, bro.
Isn't the whole purpose of leaving America to go to a place where we're wanted? So why are we going places where we're not wanted, where we just want to run our pockets, like Colombia, etc., like Paraguay and stuff like that? Shouldn't we go to a place where we're wanted? That's it.
Well, I'm going places. I'm just going everywhere so I could.
Yeah, I know what you do. Like, great, showing that to people and everything. And I hope more people watching and keep watching you and actually listen to what you're saying. Not the other people on YouTube just spreading bullshit, like acting like these pros like them when they obviously just like their money. So it's stupid.
Yeah, I know this is going a little deeper than what you probably like, Austin. But all I gotta say is that nobody's gonna save us, brothers and sisters. We gotta save ourselves. Let's stop looking for that Caucasian and for that hug. That's all I
It's
want to say.
literally black men are doing better in America. It's like, why are they even traveling to like Colombia and these other places? So it's like, go to DR, go to places. That's what people need to promote on YouTube, places where we're actually
Why?
where we're gonna be the first
Why?
choice.
Bro, why DR though? DR is a pay for play, nothing but pay for play. That's a horrible country to
Well,
just
that's
like.
the sewer. Like, what about Santo Domingo, Punta Cana? You can actually have a good life over there. You can go to sewer, yeah, let's pay for play.
I don't know, man. It's just DR. It's just too much pay for play, man. That's just how I feel.
Where would you recommend Austin for black men to like be where they're number one? Where they're if you're a high value black man, where is the best place you should go to where you should invest your money, invest your time?
I would say Brazil, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Cali,
All right,
Colombia.
cool.
Kenya, man, Kenya would probably be the best, man. You're gonna get a good amount of time. NBA baller says go wherever you want. Okay, well you should go to India. Go see how good they treat you in India.
Man, I heard about
And
India, bro. They do not like.
Kenya is good too because you like American men can actually speak to the woman too. That's another thing. You communicate. You like the girl to really like you.
So,
What you?
Austin, when oh, go ahead, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So, I know you ain't gonna like give an exact time, but like when are you gonna be going back to Brazil? I mean, I know you're not gonna give like a specific time, but like a general time frame probably.
It'll be in a few months. It'll be in a few months, but trust me, you'll love it when you see it.
You'll be back in heaven, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna be back in heaven. He fell off. I'm gonna be back in heaven, and I won't be leaving. There he goes. Go to Iraq. Yeah, if you feel like you can go anywhere, NBA, go to Iraq, go to Saudi Arabia, go to India. Go to England. Go to England. Go to Albania. A lot of people are just, I think, a lot of times these other countries, I think that a lot of them are just tolerating some of us.
Yeah. Bro, I'm in Colombia and talk to these girls. They're like, fuck these American black men. Let's just take their money. Da da da. It's like, bro, I don't know why there's so many, and it's annoying. I live in Cartagena, and I see all these black men coming out here. I'm here. I'm making money. I have business and stuff, but I just find it funny how these YouTubers be like Colombia, Colombia. And it's like, and so many
That's
black people are coming because of these videos. Like, I literally see since what after the pandemic, like amount of black Americans in Colombia is just ridiculous.
Yeah, well, yeah, your best bet. Yeah, again, when I was with the Afro Latinas in Colombia, I was having a good time. It seemed a lot more genuine, a lot more normal.
Yeah,
But I guess we can say I got a fetish too sometimes. I go over there with those mestizos and I'm just going, because you never know their real intent. So it's just like, fuck it.
yeah.
Hey, you
Colombia is just
got
a place to have a good time. Have a good time and make money. It's actually pretty easy to make businesses out here. So it's a good time to make
but I
money and stuff. But mhm.
but I've been thinking about like I mean I wouldn't mind trying. It's like a place like Armenia or something like that. Like I mean I guess technically isn't Middle Eastern or Arab country, but like some place like Armenia or some shit would be like a place that I wouldn't mind trying out or something maybe.
For vacation, probably.
Let
Some
me,
people
Daniel, let me bring up Timo real quick.
All right, all right.
Timo, what's going on?
Yo, what's up? I've been
How you
trying to get
doing?
on here. I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm in Dallas right now. So I'm going through what you going through daily, but what you was going through daily. But yeah, I just wanted to comment on this a little bit. Not say too much, but I think everything that you're saying is true. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think everything that you're saying is true. I study history. That's what I'm going to school for right now. And in Latin America, they historically they have this thing called blanqueamiento, and what it is historically in Latin America they believe that the lighter your skin, the more successful and the more attractive you were toward mating, and it was even the haciendos and the slaves in the Mexican regions, even the Seminoles that were what they call Masigos in Mexico. They also took on this blanqueamiento idea that the closer you are to white, the more attractive you were, the more socially like socially acceptable you were. But the other guy also was right though. The civil rights movement was a huge movement. Like I was dating this girl from Mexico. Oh, she was from Honduras. And one time I showed her a picture and I was like trying to explain to her who Martin Luther King was, and she said, "I know who that is." And I was like, "Oh," I was like, I'm embarrassed. I'm thinking like, I'm trying to explain to her like who she already know who this person is. And that just shows you how big the civil rights movement was. It changed the face of black men all over the world. But recently, what happened was, not only, for, a long time from the 90s, from the 80s, in the 80s time period, but then rap music came and changed the face of black men around the world again. Sports changed the face of black men again. But in the recent time period, what I have been observing is, and this might be a little controversial, and I don't want to go viral. This is the last thing I want to do is go viral.
Go viral, bro.
Go viral. But I don't know if you remember from 2017 to 2020, there was like this bashing of men, right? It was like this bashing of men. And
Me too.
one thing that the men that took it the hardest were black men. I don't know if you remember, but it was a lot of, where's your dad at, or what, even white people had got into it, like, where's your dad, or like the deadbeat dads, these black men ain't, taking care of. It was like this deadbeat dad thing, like of black communities. That wasn't true. Like most black men, if you look up the statistics, they are in the home today. But it was a lot of this social media content around black men not being good fathers or not being good mates. This was not just this was not just disseminated across America, but this is at the time where the most information is being disseminated around the world, right? So a lot of women, yes, the black man, I believe, is the most sexually attractive man in the world, but I do also believe that he is the least mateable man in the world, meaning that I think every woman on this planet will, fuck a black man, but I think that every woman on this planet will not date a black man seriously. No, I'm just being real though. Like I think we can. I mean, if you even know anything about porn, the biggest porn is interracial. Is interracial. Porn between a black man and a white woman. That's like the most popular porn, like the popular sexual activity of a man dominating a woman is the black man giving it to the white woman. And I think that on one side, yes, blanqueamiento is still a factor, that they think that the lighter your skin, the better you are for marriage, for mating. But on the other hand, they also want a man that's tall, at the traditional sense, tall, dark, and handsome, or just basically tall, dominant, and handsome is what they mean, and that is the black man, like, every time. So I think the only way we can change this is if we're doing what you're doing, is if we're going to these countries, traveling, because to be honest, the only reason white men are more dateable is because they have been what was this passport bro movement. They have been passport bros for years before we have ever, for the black man that our image is today, because our image is profound today. Let's get this straight. We have a profound image of the black man in America. I mean, our image is mocked everywhere. Our image is mocked everywhere around the world. All the way, and I'm talking about all the way around the world, even Japan, Korea, places where they don't even see black men, they still try to mock our image. And the only way we can change that is if we're doing what you're doing. That's why I follow you, really, because I'm like, man, this dude is really, I don't know if he know exactly, how much influence he's doing when he's going to these places and he's interacting with these women and he's showing other young black men that, hey, the black American woman is not being as respectful to me and my image as these other women are. And you are acting accordingly when you get there. You're not you're not bullshitting really. You like, okay, I'm going with the move. I'm not going with the move. I'm going with I'm on this type of time. I'm not on this type of time. And you just doing you instead of trying to cause a scene or go too far, and you're showing the right things. So you, Ace, and it's this other dude. I mean, it says that he be trying to show too much ass, too much, but who's the other dude? It's a dude called Game Abroad. Game Abroad. He does a good job. And
Bullshit. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna talk about another man on this show.
He does a good job because he does it on a way of what some men want, like that one woman thing, and just riding it out with that one woman. It's another dude too, but I'm not getting his name right now. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. So yeah, it was I appreciate what you're doing, my man. I'm gonna keep watching him, keep super chatting and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing, young man. Do your thing. I'm 30, so I just got my passport, and it feels good. So I'm gonna start this summer.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir. Shout out to the D.
Yeah. All right, man. Daniel is correct. I live in Santo Domingo. Santo Domingo's DR is completely different than tourist spots Black men are always running to the DR. I've heard that. So, you guys, that's the end of the debate for today. We pretty much covered all of our time. Smooth Life, I appreciate you calling in.
Hey man, I appreciate you letting me on, bro. I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna, I'm gonna make my mark in this space soon. I'm gonna make more videos and shit for y'all. I just wanna, show love. I sent you some cash apps, bro, for your birthday. Hope you got some.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, bro, and to the panel and to the chat out there. Shout out to y'all. I like to bring a different perspective on things, and I'm a passionate type of dude. So, if I say some shit y'all might find funny or like, whoa, I I like to think I spit nothing but facts. At least I think we all do, right? So, all right, y'all. Peace.
All right, man. You have a good one. So, whatever sent $5 to Austin and going to the red light districts exclusively. I would agree. I do not. I've been to some cities that are considered red light districts, but I do not go there exclusively. So if you guys are not already, make sure you sign up for the Patreon at patreon.com/Austin Holloman 512. Remember, my birthday is tomorrow. If you guys enjoyed the show, if you want to, you don't have to. If you want to, drop your boy $5 cash app, and we may go live again while I'm out tonight. Remember, we are at the border of Brazil, so the vibe will be a little different here, and I'll show you guys what it's like. I'll give you guys intel, and yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the topic. I'll see you guys next time.